Bumped him about.
I know, and that's the thing, and they did, and we now have the result. By the way, speaking of that, Tyler's got the greatest level of fame that you can have in today's world. He's a name, he's a city, but he's not a face.
That's
pretty good.
That is. That's exactly.
We'd trade that sometimes.
Yes.
Wouldn't you like to just be Jim from Hoover?
Yes. Jim from 280 would be great. It would be great. By logic, if Bama wins out, they should be ranked above Georgia. No doubt about that. The concern for Bama would be the respect the Pac-12 is getting this year. And then if Florida State stays unbeaten and Michigan or Ohio State stays unbeaten, that would be the roadblock. But it's hard to imagine, final 30-second thought, that with what the SEC has done over the years, for the SEC champion to be left out would be mind-boggling for me with the respect that league has had in the conference. You got about 30 seconds, Luke's.
I agree, but the committee will say that every year is its own year, and we don't look back, we look forward, we look at what's currently happening. I think that's a bunch of hogwash because human nature would tell you that that's not true.
Right?
And what your eyes are showing you, eventually you can ignore it or deny it all you want. You better start believing your eyes.
Yeah. Big win for Alabama over LSU. Luganbill will be with us all week on Spit and Lugs and Ball and all the other things he does for us. You'll catch it on replay until 9 o'clock when we go live with the next round. That is Monday Morning Live, brought to you by mybookie.ag. You guys have a blessed week.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got two great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store. Want more of the Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway. Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Well, here we are, Alabama back in the college football playoff conversation. I mean, they're not going to change anywhere in the rankings. Nope. Nothing happened ahead of them. But all of a sudden, everybody's going to talk differently about Alabama this week and on Tuesday night than they did going into this game, because I think there are a lot of people that didn't think Alabama was going to beat LSU. And they did. They beat them by a couple of touchdowns. Jalen Milroe ends up, at the end of the day, being the last quarterback standing, literally. And the Tide gets a shootout win, the way we didn't think they could do it.
Well, I mean, look, we figured they were going to have to score some points if you were going to beat this LSU team. And 21 at half, or 21 at half, looked like what was going to be a great game. I've been so surprised Jaden Daniels throws his body just out there.
Yeah.
And he hasn't gotten hurt.
And the one time he gets hurt, he's in the pocket.
Yep, in the pocket.
Isn't that wild?
One time you would think he could. And that guy is so good.
He is so good, but he runs with reckless abandon. And it was not just Saturday night. This has been, I don't know if you want to call it
the last couple of years.
I don't know if you want to call it a criticism, Lance. I guess it's a criticism, right? But it's been the last couple of years that he puts his body in a lot of danger. And then he's really not been hurt a whole lot. And the one big hit he gets, he's right there in the pocket trying to make a pass.
There are certain quarterbacks and running backs, for that matter, that you just never seem like you hit them hard.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels is one of those guys. You just never get a clean hit on him.
Sixth sense. He just knows
He's
at
slithery.
the last second, to be able to get out of the way.
He almost falls with the hit, and then he's in the pocket, and everyone reacts to Dallas Turner. Now, people forget he was flagged 15 yards. So that is the maximum amount of yardage that Alabama could have been flagged on that. Dallas Turner could have left the game with targeting if they had called that, but Jaden Daniels would have still been out of the game. So the impact on the game isn't different on the targeting call or not, because Jaden Daniels' injury would have been the same. But 15 yards was assessed because of the driving him into the ground part of it.
Rightfully so. That was clearly roughing the quarterback. There's no doubt about it.
Now, the targeting debate is out there, how that impacts the rest of the game. It wouldn't have changed the game at all, because Jaden Daniels' injury would have been the same as the 15 yards that was assessed. Dallas Turner's impact on the game the rest of the way.
Actually, it would have impacted the Kentucky game more than anything. He would have missed the first half of the Kentucky game.
Great point.
But I'm with Jim. Look, I mean, if you're not an Alabama fan, you think it was 1,000% targeting. If you are an Alabama fan, you can't even believe we were discussing it. I get that. That's the way fandom works, right? But ultimately, it did not change the game. That game was over when Jaden Daniels went out, because LSU could not stop Alabama's run game. Alabama would not have had to throw a single pass to win that game from that point on.
Yeah, and you and I talked about it before. I still think Alabama wins the game if he never goes out. But it could have gotten interesting. I mean, Nussmeier took them down late. It was still going to be a one-possession game, even if they scored the touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, on that drive, even if he drives down and scores, it does become a 7-point game. But then I had zero faith LSU was getting a stop on Alabama, because at that point now, Milroe was getting everything he wanted in the run game.
And when he wasn't, the running backs
That's
were.
right, because they were so focused on Milroe in the run game, the running backs were getting anything they wanted. So Alabama did not have to throw a single pass in the fourth quarter. Their run game was that dominant, and we have not seen that in a while from Alabama.
Yeah, but it was helped out by the fact that Milroe became such a factor running the football, targeting or not targeting, and then we'll put that to bed as we move into a deeper look at this game. Luganbill said earlier it's a 50-50 call for him. It's this part. It's not the crown, but, it's the neck and head area. I know afterwards you said in our postgame that you didn't think it was targeting. I thought it was.
I did not in real time. I thought, to me, it looked like in real time, face mask first made contact on the chest, and then naturally the helmet hit the chin.
Yeah.
If that's targeting, it's targeting. I don't know that that's targeting. I've been told by what appear to be fans of not Alabama that it's 1,000% targeting again. I've been told by Alabama fans there's no way it was targeting. I don't know the answer to that. The SEC reviewed it. They didn't think it rose to the level.
And see, that's another thing. People were like, they didn't even stop it to review it. there's reviewing process that is going on all the time, and Jaden Daniels was down on the field for a lengthy amount of time. They are looking at that at the stadium and in the command center during the entire time they're addressing Jaden Daniels down on the field.
And told Brian Kelly that. Brian Kelly asked. They said, no, they've reviewed it already and did not think it rose to the level of targeting.
I mean, it was so close to targeting.
It was very
close, and if it would have been called targeting, I wouldn't have had a problem with it because we're so conditioned now to see a hit like that get called for targeting.
Yeah. We think, at least I do when I'm watching the game, that any hard hit is targeting.
Right.
I mean, I instantly think, ooh, is that targeting? Just because it's a hard hit, and that was a hard hit that impacted the game. And you hope it doesn't impact the rest of LSU's career. Jaden Daniels is in concussion protocol moving forward. The other quarterback, though, Jalen Milroe, had his signature game for Alabama. 374 total yards. He completed 65.2% of his passes and no turnovers. Here's Jalen Milroe after the game talking to our EG.
Texas A&M, Arkansas, Tennessee, LSU. Can you talk about that gauntlet stretch? You guys, if you feel you guys are battle tested?
It's a grind. It's a grind. When you play this game, it's a war, you know. And we had to approach every game as an opportunity to get better and seize the moment. And really, really approaching it as a time where we can win, but also acknowledging what areas we need to improve on. And I think we're doing a great job in the locker room with acknowledging that, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. We're just trying to steadily grow. And then also, we have to acknowledge that we're playing in a hard division. You know, we're going to get a lot of guys' best game, whether it's we're on the road or we're playing at home. We're playing tough opponents, you know, and we see that, we know that, and our preparation is allowing us to grow and constantly build. So I'm excited for this team because we're now at a finished product, and I'm excited for what's to come.
That looked like the first game that he wanted to be a running quarterback, that he wanted to be the best athlete on the field.
A willing runner.
Well, yeah, it looked like the game had slowed down. Now, that helps that it's probably LSU's defense out there, which is so weird to say this deep in the season.
I know, but it is true.
They are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked comfortable. You know, I mean, look, best player on the field is Jaden Daniels, but Jalen Milroe played right with him.
Can I just say, a guy that has got a lot of criticism is Tommy Rees, and I thought he had a fantastic plan in this game. He knew LSU's weakness, and they continued to attack that weakness. And if I had told you guys Friday that Alabama hit 0 deep balls, zero deep balls, basically. You know, the deep ball over the middle to a wide-open Isaiah Bond that they have almost every game. They did not get that.
Yep.
If I had told you that Friday, you don't think Alabama wins that football game.
Probably not.
Because I thought that was going to be easy points for Alabama against that LSU secondary.
And Milroe wasn't perfect. There were a couple of throws in those deep ball situations that he threw into double coverage that sometimes in a crucial situation could get picked off, and they just were not the other night.
And he missed Bond on an easy walk-in, too. I mean, so he missed him. He wasn't far from perfect. I'd say in the run game he was pretty close to perfect, though.
So Alabama's 8-1 overall. They're only lost to Texas. 6-0 in the conference, controlling their destiny to make it to Atlanta at Kentucky this week. More on Alabama in just a second after I tell you that the holiday season is upon us, and our friends at Legacy has their credit card ready to manage your spending safely and wisely. You guys know credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to the debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.90% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise things as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy and open a credit card online in minutes. LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. LegacyCreditUnion.com/join. APR is the annual percentage rate. Rates and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. My first question would be, Alabama's playing better football than Texas right now, but how big of a roadblock is that loss to Texas head-to-head for Alabama as we approach playoff season? 3 weeks of the regular season.
I don't know how big it's going to be because I don't think Texas can finish this deal.
Who's left?
Who's going to beat them?
Who's left? That's going to beat
Oklahoma State.
It's not going to be TCU this week.
I mean, would you be shocked if TCU beats them?
I would. Yeah, TCU's not very good. Is Ewers back? They said there was a chance he plays
needs
this
to be
week.
back.
Yeah.
It's a chance for him, but the Iowa State game more likely.
Yeah, Iowa State could be tricky in Ames.
Oklahoma State.
I still can't believe they won the game when it went to overtime.
Yeah, Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship.
Assuming
game.
they meet in the Big 12 championship game,
That's
the
a good
way
team.
Oak State's playing right now would be a handful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with Lance. Kansas State had every opportunity to win that game. We praised Chris Kleiman, and rightfully so. I think the guy's a good football coach. Everybody has a bad day at work, right? And he had a bad day at work, Chris Kleiman did. Texas handed him a game on a platter.
Yeah, I was about to say, Sark almost had a really bad day.
He really did. Texas handed him a game on a platter. Terrible interception. Terrible interception by Malik Murphy. Terrible interception by him. A fumble. I mean, just everything you needed to win that game after falling down 17-0 happened for you. And you could do nothing with it because you're horrible play calling in the red zone. I don't know what he was doing in the red zone.
Yeah, I would tell you, anytime you win the toss and you get the second opportunity and the other team scores a field goal, and that's all they get, opportunities there for you to win the game, right?
Yep.
And then you go bang, first and goal at the 4.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah. First and goal at the 4, and a touchdown's a walk-off. I would say your percentage of winning the game at that point is in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
90% to win the game. I mean, you do the tush push, the brotherly shove or whatever 4 times,
Yes.
and you win the game.
Yeah.
And they run with Will Howard first, and then they throw the ball 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times.
Horrible.
Yeah, it was really strange because, you had so much success running the 2-quarterback system. And your running option, you don't even bring him in.
Yeah, to run an option run play if you're going to run the ball at any point. And you don't run it traditionally with your running backs at all. Chris Kleiman, unbelievable there. So Texas has that head-to-head to Alabama, which is a quality loss for the Tide. Who knows how it will all play out. And we'll talk about the playoff race later on. But for Alabama, here's Nick Saban on the table they have set for themselves before they go up to Lexington this week.
This team has created an opportunity where now they got to make a choice. We've had 2 big games in a row here and still got 2 SEC games left and another game. So you're going to make a choice about taking care of business or continue to take care of business in the future because we can create an opportunity for ourselves and maybe win the West and maybe get in the SEC championship game, and who knows what happens from there.
Yeah, so who knows what happens from there?
I don't know. I mean, it's subjective, so you'll never really know. The best coaching job Nick Saban has done at Alabama. What year was it? I don't know. I mean, I think the one that probably gets discounted is 2020 in the COVID year.
Yeah.
When he managed all the uncertainties to produce what was one of the most dominant Alabama teams of all time. But aside from that, this may be the year, man, to take this team from where they were day one to basically having a path to the college football playoff in November. Not a clear path, but a path. That's a remarkable job of coaching by Nick Saban.
Well, I think where we stand right now, look, I think there could be still a loss on the schedule, but I think Alabama's playing as well. There's only 3 teams I would definitely say are better than Alabama right now.
Let me see if I can guess. Michigan, Georgia,
and Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not put Michigan in that group until Saturday. Let me see Saturday before I put them in that group. They just have not played anybody.
Is Saturday really going to tell you anything?
Well, more than anything else they've played. I mean, Penn State is significantly better, and they're having to play the game on the road. Significantly better than anything else they have played.
Michigan is so much better than Penn State.
Well, I think
and
they are,
so
Jim.
much better than Ohio State.
But I don't know how I judge that. How do you judge that?
I mean, they have just beaten the hell out of
a
everyone
bunch
they
of
played.
nobodies.
I judge it by my eyes. My eyes. I judge it by my eyes and the fact that this team is better against bad competition than they were last year when they were also better than Penn State and Ohio State last. Michigan is really, really good. But are they Georgia good, Alabama good,
We don't know
Oregon
yet.
good?
Don't know yet.
Texas good. I don't know yet. Florida State good. Florida State's the one I'm lost.
Don't know about them either. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still basing everything on them on a win over LSU, aren't you?
I am.
Because, I mean, how good is a win at Clemson right now for them?
That's not great.
Not great. I mean, Clemson's basically
But how good's Ohio State's win against Notre Dame now?
who's got a good win then? Who are we going to give a good win to?
Texas.
Washington.
Texas has a good win.
Texas has a good win. Washington has a good win. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't have to determine who the best team in the country is right now. I want to see it from Michigan. And, hey, if they go blast Penn State, even if they go beat Penn State by 10 in State College, I'm like, okay, there's a good football team, obviously.
Yeah. AU Clay says, I'll take Florida State all day for him. Brett says Bama wins out and they are in, period. No need to discuss that as the SEC champs.
I tend to agree. I think if that, and we were kind of talking about this before the show, Brown brought up lasting impression beating Georgia, which at that point, back-to-back national champions, in 30-odd consecutive
They would
wins?
have at that point a 29 game, the longest win streak in SEC history, 29 games.
Yeah, I would find it hard to believe a 12-1 SEC champion Alabama gets left out.
Hey, and who knows? By the time they play Georgia Tech may be ranked by the time they play them.
Georgia Tech's on a heater.
Yeah.
I mean,
Florida State undefeated's got to get in, right? Washington undefeated's got to get in. Let's just call it Michigan.
Any unbeaten gets in.
Yeah, but
From
then if
the
it comes
Power 5.
Your only problem would be Texas. I think Oregon, Alabama, identical records. I think Bama gets in.
Washington's still undefeated.
No, but I was saying
if Oregon beats Washington.
I'm saying if Washington goes undefeated, they're getting in over a one loss. Same with Florida State.
Yeah, he's talking about if it becomes one-loss conference champions.
I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I mean, Texas is always going to have that head-to-head, but there is a lot of football left to be played. November is a crazy month in college football.
That's right.
We'll lose one of the contenders in November. It always happens.
Let's get to best and worst of the weekend. Tyler Booker next. Best and worst of the weekend being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill LT.
Yeah, our friends at Hemp Hill want to remind you, $69 fall tune-up right now since 1954. The name that everybody in Alabama has trusted for plumbing, heating, and cooling. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Tell them the next round sent you. It's hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
We'll talk to Tyler Booker, Alabama offensive lineman, in the next segment. Joel Klatt will join us at 10:25 Central Time. I'm Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Rockstar, Tyler Forrester, and Lunsford all on the back road. Taylor Korn handling everything social media. Emily Grace McWhorter, our in-the-field reporter in Tuscaloosa, today to talk to Bama coaches and players, getting ready for their trip up to Lexington, 11 a.m., straight out of game day coming up. I apologize to you guys. My worst of the weekend, other than my back pain, another doctor visit coming up for me, was my printer.
Where is it?
Wasn't working. I sent it out, so I have sent out the worksheets with this week's college football schedule, but none is printed for anyone because I could not get my computer and printer to sync up last night as I was ready to print my sheets, and it just stopped working. So I don't know if anybody wants to give me a new printer, or maybe I got to get Maggie on this. She's my geek squad, my wife is, so I got to get Maggie on it this afternoon.
Good Christmas gift for you, though, is a color printer?
It may be time.
It looks beautiful over there, Jim. Good work out of you.
Thank you. There it is right there. It's on the screen. It's been printing great stuff. It's probably a $69 printer that I've had since, I'd say 2013. So I've gotten way more than my money's worth out of it.
Yeah. Are you a little surprised? And I thought they had a 6-day hold on this, that CBS went Tennessee, Missouri instead of Ole Miss, Georgia. Ole Miss, Georgia is the far more significant game.
Yep.
Ole Miss is still alive in the West, and Georgia is number one in the nation. I'm a little baffled that they went Tennessee, Missouri there.
Yeah, what a gift that is for, I assume, Herbstreit and Fowler.
I guess so, 6 o'clock ESPN.
And they're doing game day from Georgia. It's almost like they did a little handshake,
I don't know.
A little future thing.
I mean, Ole Miss, Georgia is potentially, Penn State, Michigan is the biggest game in the nation, but you can make an argument Ole Miss, Georgia is second biggest game in the nation.
Well, Lane Kiffin's been coaching for a long time. That would be by far his best win.
By far his best win, yes. Yeah. Nowhere close. I was just surprised when that
I give Ole Miss as much of a chance as I give TCU beating Texas.
But didn't the number came out at 12, which felt a little low to me.
Ole Miss, outside of the beat down to Bama, they've been really good, and that's Alabama's best win, right?
By ranking
right now, yeah. Ole Miss is a one-loss team.
Ole Miss is going to be number 9 in the playoff rankings when it comes out a little bit later on this year. So or Tuesday night. Not
That's
this year.
Good television schedule as far as the windows, because as bad as USC's defense is, Alex Grinch finally gone. That if Caleb Williams plays, that could be an interesting game.
Jay Sask, doesn't CBS have a rule they can only do certain amount of teams so many times? I think that's always been a theoretical rule. I think the conferences look the other way on that sometimes or agreed with them. This is a broken marriage, so I don't know that the SEC is looking to give CBS anything. So they might be enforcing that. That might be what has happened is CBS told ESPN, hey, you're our future partner. Watch what we do right here.
Yeah.
We'll tell them they can't have Ole Miss, Georgia. They've done Georgia too many times this year.
Yeah, or that you haven't broadcast Missouri in the 2:30 window in 3 years and per contract.
Yeah.
You're in violation of your contract.
I could absolutely see the SEC doing that and would not blame them one bit because that is a broken marriage with them and CBS, and ESPN's your future partner. Well, and you just handed them the second best game of the day.
Will you check with
I'll see if I
people
find out,
in the industry to find out if the SEC had to flex the muscle to get Ole Miss, Georgia to the Fowler-Herb Street game day situation on Saturday night? Because that's good. But to your point, LT, on that broadcast window there, the games are spread out throughout the day at a really good point. You know, Utah, Washington, Miami, Florida State, some impact there in the middle of the day. Early, Bama, Kentucky, Michigan State, Penn State there early. And then prime time, you get into some of those other games, including Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas, and TCU. It's spread out nicely through the window, including the late night 9:30 Fox, USC, Oregon.
And USC's got a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, they do.
The old one wasn't doing much.
Alex Grinch is out. There was a lot of loyalty. There was a friendship between those two guys, but Lincoln Riley, sooner or later had to do this.
Yeah.
And, you just wonder. I really wonder watching how emotional Caleb Williams was. If now that there really is nothing to play for, if he shuts it down.
Yeah, all that to come in the show today. We'll get to Tyler Booker next as we head to break. Tell us about our friends at Odie's, and then we'll set the table with Bama's big O lineman.
Yeah, two great locations. Make sure you stop and see Will Haver and that great staff. Incredible food from Rodney Davis for the last 30 years. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, including the Diablo Sandwich, new location in Homewood right there on the corner of Broadway and Oxmoor. Get in today. It's Odie's Tavern.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Give the gift of Daniel Moore art this holiday season with the 2024 Crimson and White Fine Art Calendar. This year's calendar features collectors' most beloved Daniel Moore Alabama football moments, from the classic goal line stand to the Saban-era 2nd and 26. Special offer for listeners only. Buy 2 calendars and get 1 free with code HOLIDAY at danielmooreart.com or by calling 1-800-735-2787.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest. As summer bids adieu, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pests, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight, because we got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight: box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your fall. Take charge today. Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
My man, Tyler Booker standing by. I think we're going to get that smile. They played so well with that run game. I think we're going to get that smile here in a second.
He joins us each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, as does Auburn's Elijah McAllister, courtesy of Craneworks. Tyler Booker's a big guy. The big guy says check out that big dog, Craneworks and Rental Works. He is with us now. Welcome in, Tyler. Congrats on the win Saturday. How you feeling today?
Thank you. I'm feeling great. How y'all doing today?
We're doing fantastic. I guess I'll do what I did after Tennessee. We couldn't get you to talk revenge and things like that, but after the game, a lot of your teammates after Tennessee talked about how personal it was. Now that we can look back on it, was this a personal game for you guys against LSU?
Really, I'm going to go back to what I said last week. You know, we want to take it week by week. We didn't make this game more important than the last, but, you know, a lot of us, like I said, against Tennessee, a lot of us were on that team last year, and we didn't go into this game thinking, oh, we got to get revenge. We went into this game thinking we got to win this game, but we also remembered what happened to us last year, and remembered that we didn't play to our level, and we remembered that we didn't play 60 minutes of football. So in our mind, we made that decision prior to the game that we're going to play 60 minutes of football. We can do it. We knew that we had the ability to play a complete game. I feel like we got really close to this game, you know? There's still certain moments in the game to where we could have eliminated some penalties and mistakes to really play even better, but this is definitely the closest we've gotten this year to playing 60 minutes of football.
Somebody that was at the game Saturday told me that was the best football atmosphere they've ever experienced. Look, you played in front of this crowd for the last couple of years. You've played in big games, but where was this atmosphere amongst the best you've played in front
of? Number one, and I'd like to give a big shout out to the fans because they really showed out this weekend in Tennessee. I feel like they've definitely realized the effect that they have on a game, and they've taken that personally, you know? So whenever they get loud, whenever they react to a big play, that really creates momentum for us. Whenever it's hard for the other team to hear, that's a very hard environment to play in. You know, so making it hard for the other team and letting them know that, letting us know that they're behind us, it's a great feeling to have.
Which stat do you like the best? 288 yards rushing as a team, or only 2 sacks allowed against a team that has Harold Perkins on it? Both those stats are really positive for your position.
My favorite stat is obviously the rushing stat. You know, we love to be able to open up holes and hold up enough to give Jalen time, and when he sees fit, give him time to escape. But I definitely got to, like you said, bring up that on 2 sacks stat. You know, we don't want to give up any, but that was we played a lot of great players. You know, Mitch Smith is a really good player. Harold Perkins is really one of the best rushers in the nation. You know, so to hold up against that defense on the 2 sacks, that's really encouraging to us, and that's just a testament to the strides that we made. And what I've been saying from the jump is, like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. This offensive line wasn't going to be great in 1 week or 2 weeks. You know, it's finally starting to come together, and we're finally starting to find that right gel of everybody on the offense, you know.
Tyler Booker is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He joins us each week, courtesy of Craneworks and Rental Works. The big guy says check out the big dog, Craneworks and Rental Works. They bring you Tyler Booker from Alabama and Elijah McAllister from Auburn every single week. This run game only works if the defense plays with you guys. And we talk a lot of offense with you, but I want to praise your defense too. To hold LSU to 28 points and 7 second-half points was a remarkable job by that Alabama defense.
Definitely. Like you said, our defense has been doing a great job this whole year, and they've definitely kept us in a lot of games, and they definitely closed out a lot of games for us. We lacked offensively. And I'm glad we were finally able to put up a good amount of points. in a game like this to really show our appreciation to the defense. That their stops aren't being taken for granted. And for us to outscore I think statistically the number one offense in the nation, that was a big deal. That's a big deal for us. So to have our defense still playing at the high level they've been playing at this whole year, and have our offense continue to grow and get better week by week, reaching a high level this week, and us having to do it consistently, it's going to get scary for the next few teams that we have to play if we continue to play at this level.
When you check out this Kentucky team, their defense was really struggling. They get a make-right game this past weekend against Mississippi State. What jumps out about Kentucky's D?
Kentucky's defense, they're pretty good up front. From what I watched of them, we really just enjoyed them yesterday. I briefly watched the game. We watched the Mississippi State game yesterday, but as we go through more film this week, we get a better gauge on them. But they're a good team. Like the SEC is any given Saturday. So we just had to carry on this momentum from this LSU victory on to Kentucky and all the games that we play after that. So it's all about carrying momentum and not getting complacent.
This time last year, you guys were out of the college football playoff conversation with the loss to LSU. Now you're not. Now you're very much in that. And I know you just said we got to take it one game at a time like that. But do you think these games will feel different, knowing the national attention will be on you guys the rest of the way?
These games are going to feel different than last year, not for that reason, but we're in a much better spot. We're just we're playing better football. I don't think the national attention has anything to do with it. I just think it's because we're starting to play complete games. Like, we had a great first half against Arkansas, great second half against Tennessee. Now we put it together. Now we just have to continue to put it together for these next games. I think it's different for us because of our potential and where we are, not because of the national attention, or I'd love to say the external factors.
We've heard it before. Tyler Booker with us, courtesy of Craneworks and Rentalworks. The big dog, the big guy says, look for the big dog, Craneworks and Rentalworks. I know the locker room is a sacred place, and I know there's certain things you would not divulge, but can you take me into a locker room after a big win like that and what it's like?
I won't give you too much because, like you said, the locker room is a sacred place, but it's just a lot of excitement, That was a big game for us. That was a great victory. Like I said, that was a great LSU team, statistically the best offense in the country before they played us. But to be able to go out there and have a great team win like that, to be able to play for 60 minutes, it was just a great feeling. So there was a lot of smiles around the locker room. This is what I've been talking about. This is what everybody's been talking about, what it looks like when we play Alabama football. That's the closest thing we played to Alabama football since I've been here. So just being able to keep that going, and really everybody just embracing that moment and just wanting to feel that again the next week and all the other weeks to come.
With that much emotion and that late of a game, what time do you finally get to bed?
I think I went to bed around probably 2, but that's because I had family in town. So we were just up, just having some good old college football debates with me, my dad, and my grandfather. So we just having some debates about football, the NFL, things like that. And you really just have to cherish that time because my friends from Connecticut, so they usually fly in and fly out the next day. So I just try to get as much time with them as I can.
Hey, our friends of Coca-Cola had us over there in Tuscaloosa last, I believe it was Thursday, at a place called The Standard on the Strip there. They cook New York-style pizza, and we all talked to them about chicken and broccoli pizza, and they're willing to make you one. If you start craving it so badly, they're willing to make you one.
Definitely. I love going to The Standard. It's the closest thing we have down here to pizza that I've grown up with, All of my friends like Domino's, Parmesan, like, no, I won't do it. So for The Standard to even match up with some of the Connecticut stuff, that's one of my favorite places to go in Tuscaloosa. So I'll definitely be trying that chicken and broccoli there soon.
We made friends with the owner, and we told him, and he would be thrilled to host you. So we'll text him. Is that okay? We'll text the owner and just say, hey, you want to come by and get it?
So that sounds great. Sounds good.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
We'll hook you up. We like you. Hey, Nick Saban busted a blood vessel in his eye from yelling last week. Does that surprise you?
No.
Was it more than normal? Was there more yelling than normal, or was it just normal Nick Saban leading up to LSU?
Just normal Nick Saban. Well, from my perspective, so Coach Saban, he's with the defense for a majority of practice. So It just seemed the same to me. I noticed it. I'm like, well, wow, well, must have been pretty intense on that field. I'm looking over at the defensive guy. I was like, what do you guys do today?
You made him bust a blood vessel. All right, Tyler, good luck against Kentucky. We'll get that pizza set up for you hopefully this week, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sounds good. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care. That is Tyler Booker with us. The Alabama offensive lineman joins us each week, as well as Elijah McAllister from the Auburn Tigers, courtesy of Craneworks and Rentalworks. They're two big guys, and the big guys say look to the big dog, Craneworks and Rentalworks. Like all of our guests, he appeared on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And being brought to you in part by our friends at Bromberg's, LT.
Since 1836, family owned and operated. They are your diamond specialists this holiday season. If you're thinking about popping the big question, get in, go see our friends at Bromberg's. 2 locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. Nothing like giving or getting that silver box from our friends at Bromberg's. Check them out online right now at brombergs.com.
Real quick, I did check with the SEC and some SEC sources. And I do believe that is what happened there, is that they've got Georgia-Tennessee next week, which will hit their limit for Georgia in the regular season.
So they gave them a choice that if you do Georgia-Ole Miss, you can't do Georgia-Tennessee.
That is correct. So CBS thinks Georgia-Tennessee is the better of the 2 games, and they're probably right about that.
Yeah. Because I think Tennessee has a chance of beating Missouri in Missouri.
In fact, I think they will.
It's a tough come-down game for Missouri.
There's no doubt.
And then you have that Georgia on the road at Neyland Stadium scenario.
You do. Now it's got less meaning. I mean, I think the Ole Miss Georgia game's got more meaning.
Oh, yeah.
Ole Miss still alive in the West. I'll remind everyone.
I mean,
still
that
alive.
shakes up the SEC
Everything.
with an Ole Miss win.
Tennessee beats Georgia. All it does is give Georgia a loss. You know,
but it did allow College Game Day to go to Georgia, 2-time defending national champions, I believe, for the first time.
Yeah. So that's what happened there, though, is they did hit their limit.
Yeah. So there you go. That's why Tennessee, Missouri's at 2:30, and Ole Miss in Georgia rolls coming up at 6 o'clock on ESPN. Game Day in Athens this weekend as well. The show being brought to you as well as we do more best and worst of the weekend by our friends at Hemp Hill. Tell me about Hemp Hill one more time, LT.
Yeah, since 1954, the name that Alabama has trusted for all their plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys today. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
My best of the weekend is Bo Nix. 6 touchdowns against a Cal team that has been stingy at times defensively. 4 passing, 2 rushing in that contest. Now, there were short runs on the rushing touchdowns, but still 6 touchdowns. And he gets USC's defense this week. So he's coming off of a 6-touchdown performance, and he gets USC's defense this week.
It's a complete unknown with USC's defense. Like, I don't think they can get any worse. So you fire Alex Grinch, you go to, and I don't even know the coach's name that took it over.
It's a defensive lineman, defensive line coach.
So you go to an assistant coach that was coaching on the same staff, right? So, I mean, like, this guy's going to be all of a sudden Bill Belichick and have a defense? I don't think so.
Yeah, defense is not going to change.
I don't think it's going to change a whole lot. So I think everything is open for Bo Nix. I'm with Lance. Watching Caleb Williams' reaction after that game, I hope the kid finishes it out. I just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, and even if he does finish it out, where is his head now? I mean, this is a guy that after the game was so distraught he had to run to his mom and cry. Yeah. I mean, that's just I don't know where he is right now.
I mean, if he shut it down right now, he's going to be your number 1 overall guy.
I don't know. I guess I don't really care what he does. I mean, he needs to do what's best for him. He's given all he can to USC. It's not his fault.
He'll be the first quarterback taken, is what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be the number 1 overall guy. Arizona's going to find a way to get that number 1 pick.
Well, if they play like they did yesterday, where they only gained 53 yards in an NFL game,
I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you know, Joshua Dobbs was not going to be the answer, but he doesn't even take a playoff or take a practice rep this week. And ends up going in there, didn't know any of his teammates' names.
Didn't know the plays.
Yeah, had never taken a snap from the center.
It's crazy.
Hey, 1-8. I'm throwing it to you.
Yeah. My point is, Arizona, much better opportunity to win with him than Clayton Tune. It seems like they are doing what they can to maybe win 1 or 2 games this year, and that's it.
Is that what you guys took away from Caleb Williams crying with his mom? I mean, it was a hard sob.
Yep.
And that maybe that was his last game?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't watch it and think it was his last game. I watched it and thought, I've got to be careful how I say this. I watched it and thought, man, that's an odd reaction. Not bad, I don't guess, but odd. That is an odd reaction to that game. I mean, I think the kid has given absolutely everything he has to USC, everything that is in his tank to USC, and it has not been rewarded hardly at all.
If they had just an average quarterback, they would be losing by 40 points a game.
Brooks is saying, hey, Caleb Williams is overrated. He ain't overrated. His offensive line is awful. He's got no defense.
I think if he, to the flip side of that, if he just had an average defense, they're probably in the national championship hunt. I mean, really, all they need is an average defense. They've just got an awful defense.
What do you guys think, and you may know this, and if you do, don't answer it. See if the other one does.
Okay.
What do you think Lincoln Riley's record at USC is?
It's going to be worse than Clay Helton's.
I think I know it. I'm just doing this off the fly, 17-7.
That sounds about right.
He's 18-5.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, 11-1 in the regular season was misleading last year.
Yep.
This has been a hugely disappointing.
And
what do you think his record is? What do you think his record is overall as a head coach?
Well, how many games? Can you give me the games?
He has done 88 games as a head coach.
88 games. I would guess Lincoln Riley as a head coach is 70-18.
I go 75-13.
73-15. 73-15 as a head coach. 18-5 at USC. But man, he seems lost, and like he seems to not be considered with the elite, the best of the best.
It's still a coach that has coached 3 Heisman Trophy winners. He's been to 3 college football playoffs. I think he won 4 Big 12 titles. Played for the Pac-12 title last year. This is the only year that I would say, man, that has been a disappointing year for Lincoln Riley.
Okay, let me ask you this off of Lincoln Riley. And I mentioned this to Luganville, and he said, doesn't really tell him one way or the other about it. But you fire your friend Alex Grinch mid-season.
Right.
Didn't fire him after Tulane Cotton Bowl disaster last year, Pac-12. This year has been many bad defensive performances.
Probably stay with him longer than you should have, yeah.
Yeah, but now you fire him mid-season. Don't even give him until the end of the year. I mean, you stayed with him this long. Why not go to the end of the year with him? Is that an indicator that Lincoln Riley is not going to the NFL, that he is bought in on the college game, that he would make a DC change at this point?
I do not think he's going to the NFL.
I don't know that I would read that into it.
Yeah, that's what Luke said. I really can't read anything into it.
Well, I mean, to me, it's more indicative of the fact, and I guess this will mean you're not going to the NFL if you're worried about this, is that he's getting a ton of pressure from whoever the powerful USC people are. And I assume a program like USC has very powerful boosters just like Alabama, Auburn, LSU would, right? I don't think you get to that level without having influencers that have a huge say-so. So I'm sure he's tired of hearing it. And, I mean, probably now wishes, I don't know. I say wishes he had made the decision. I don't know.
I think
there's no saving that defense.
Bigger storyline is Caleb Williams moving forward. I'm not going to be surprised at all. If he finishes the season, I'm not going to be surprised at all if today there is a bomb that is dropped that he is going to shut it down.
Who's your backup?
The backup is a dude, Miller Moss, and then
so you can lose out with Miller Moss easily.
Oh,
I mean, you lose out with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
By the way, 41, 41, 48, 34, 49, 52.
That's what they've given up.
That's what they've given up their last 6 games. 41, 41, 48, 34, 49, 52.
That's insane, man. Yep. USC, proud USC.
Yeah, you can't win games like that. It's still amazing they're 7-3.
It really is with that kind of number.
On the flip side, Pac-12 mascots have never had better upper body strength than this year because of USC's defense.
That duck, man.
Hey, I'll tell you a team you don't want to play right now is Arizona.
Yeah, we'll talk more about everything else going on in college football as we move forward throughout the day. Joel Klatt as well, coming up at 10:25 Central Time. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Great time to get by Michelson before the end of the year.
Yeah, right now, Michelson, special pricing. Got a really good deal for you. If you go see Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, get screened out and get the procedure done by December 31st, they're going to hook you up with a big-time deal. If you've been thinking about this, stop procrastinating. Make the phone call that I made more than 20 years ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. For more information on this great promotion, go to michelsonlaservision.com.
All the SEC with our All-SEC analyst, Roman Harper. Thursdays at 9:25.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
The Next Round golf cart is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the deluxe golf cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
Near a butcher shop steak bet update from the weekend.
I can't even remember what we had.
Holy crap.
I was about to run through it for you here.
Yeah.
I had Washington minus 4.5. That was a winner for me. I had Auburn minus 10.5. That was a winner for me. And you had Ollie Gordon over 100.5 yards, and that was a winner for you. Hats off to Ollie Gordon because he wasn't 100%. He was playing hurt and limited for Oklahoma State, and he gutted out 33 carries for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. He helps them so much, and they knew he was going to be a big part running the football. And I say this not jokingly, but they limited him to 137 yards. They corralled him to 137 yards because he's been going for 230, 240, 250.
It was a very fun game, and I'm with you. I thought Oklahoma actually defended him pretty well. I thought your total on him was a little too low. And Oklahoma had every opportunity to win that game. Their fans are hot, and you're going to naturally have the conspiracy theories that Oklahoma's not going to get the calls on the way out of the conference about a missed pass interference in the end zone, and it was absolutely a missed pass interference in the end zone. And does it change the outcome of the game? I don't know, but Oklahoma's about to get the ball first and goal. What is that, at the 2 in college? First and goal at the 2, 1, whatever.
If it's in the end zone,
yeah,
pass interference in the end zone, it's on the 1.
On the 1.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a first and goal on the 1. That, I kind of like Oklahoma's odds in that game, getting it first and goal on the 1. So they're hot. They're upset about it, but ultimately they had a chance at the end of the game and could not could not pick up another first down, just couldn't get the ball going at the end of the game, ball in hand.
Did they ever find the goalpost in Stillwater?
They did. In fact, Forrester has the video, and the students gathered with lights flashing on campus, and here comes the goalpost. It's going to permanently live at the bottom of that little pond in the middle of the campus. Look at all the cameras and the lights.
Holy crap.
As people are shooting it and they throw it in there.
Not exactly the Tennessee River, but
yeah, nor is it the deepest thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be times where that goalpost is visible.
Oh, it's drought season. There's the goalpost.
Y'all remember when we beat Oklahoma?
Yeah. I assume it eventually sunk.
I guess it kind of floats there for a minute.
Or it's a very shallow reflection pond there in Stillwater.
I don't know if you've spent much time in Oklahoma. You don't see a whole lot of bodies of water out there, especially the further west you go.
I assume it's floating for a bit and then it'll sink.
Maybe.
But see, it's got a little fountain in the middle. It maybe just isn't that deep.
Yeah, I think they chose the only pond they had there on campus, Jim.
So at this point, everyone takes their clothes off and jumps in, and they all start frolicking in the water. No, they don't.
I mean, I don't think we'll ever see Bedlam again.
Oh, I think we will
on a regular basis. I don't think we will on a regular basis.
You don't think they will do what they do with Florida State, Florida, Georgia Tech, and make that the rivalry game at the end of the year?
I don't know about the Big 12 doing that, and I don't know what the SEC. I mean, obviously the SEC is going to continue to do it because you have so many of those out of conference versus the ACC games.
It'll be an Oklahoma decision if it happens.
Yeah,
Oklahoma will have to want it to happen, and I think by them losing this game, it's more likely to happen.
I would agree. I think if they win this game, they're like, you know what, we're on to greener pastures. We're taking to the SEC. We'll see you.
So you're saying you don't want the final Bedlam to be
I
a loss?
wouldn't want it like that.
I mean, you're walking out, instead of walking out 92-19 and 1, you're walking out with a loss.
Yeah.
Which isn't reflective of what that rivalry is.
Not at all.
Yeah, we'll see. Gundy now 4-15 over his rival there.
That's a big one, though.
As a head coach.
Yeah,
It is a big one.
They won't remember the 4-15. They'll remember the 1-0.
Tell us about our friends at New York Butcher Shop. They brought us that steak bet update there.
Yeah, 2 great locations. Go see Jim and all the guys. And don't forget about the huge deli sandwiches that you can custom make right there at the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service, great steaks, pork chops. We've got some Thanksgiving stuff coming up, too. So that's where I typically get all my catering done, from the New York Butcher Shop. For more information on that, stop by one of those 2 great locations, Cava Heights and Highway 119. Go see Jim and that great staff at the New York Butcher Shop.
Here is Mike Gundy about winning the last one, Bedlam.
And our crowd, our fans, and our students are more engaged with our team than ever. So what they did is they gave them a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I made sure that they knew that they owed them, and here's why. Early in the year, we weren't coaching very well. And I told you guys that. After the 3rd game of the year, our coaching was awful. And so we didn't play very well. And I told the coaches their coaching was awful, and my coaching was awful, because I watched it happen, and we didn't play well. And then we practiced for 2 weeks and played a little better on the road, and then we came home and they filled this place up. And then we played another good team and they filled this place up, and they were going bonkers. When they didn't have to, because we didn't coach very well early in the year. And I wanted them to know that that was a big win for the people out there for a lot of years, and for the last game for them to win Bedlam and give them a chance of a lifetime.
Now, he's a guy that his brother went to Oklahoma. His parents were Oklahoma people, University of Oklahoma people.
His painter was an Oklahoma guy.
His painter was an Oklahoma guy. But they told a story in the broadcast. Luganbill's crew was on the broadcast, that on signing day, or before signing day, when Gundy told his mom he was going to Oklahoma, he told his parents, she cried.
Yeah.
She did not. I mean, the whole family tree was Sooners.
Yep.
But he went to Oklahoma State.
I mean, his brother was a really good Sooner.
Yeah. And
a coach there for a long time.
He's been there a long, long time, and he's 4-15 in the rivalry, but it means something to him. And they got the win there. And they're inside track to be in the Big 12 championship game.
I think it's a surprise if they're not, Lance. Don't you?
I don't know if it would be a surprise. What do they have left?
Here's what they got left. They're at UCF, who has really, really struggled. Gus finally, though, got a conference win.
On the road, though, at UCF. And
it is on the road.
Coming down. That's this week.
That's a tough game.
It's a come-down game.
At Houston, who has struggled. 4-5, 2-4 in conference.
They'll be favored in both games.
And then against BYU, who has fallen apart.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, BYU just got scorched by West Virginia this week.
And I'll tell you, this is the team Texas doesn't want to see right now.
It is.
State?
It is the team they don't want to see because.
Of course, I said that about Kansas State.
Well, I mean, I think Kansas State showed that they should have or could have won that football game. Got off to a horrible start. But Quinn Ewers isn't there, and maybe when Quinn Ewers comes back. Let's do our storyline, Rockstar, our spotlight today, storyline that you're paying attention to, because I got one stat about the college football playoff I want to get out here before we get to Joel Klatt. It's brought to you today by our friend Dr. B, and we'll tell you about Dr. B after Rockstar hits the big button.
The College Football Spotlight. College football's biggest storylines.
Hey, our friend Dr. B offering that Census Transdermal Infuser, which I got applied just 2 weeks ago. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. For more information, t3hair.net. Call today. Book a consultation, 205-319-0316. Dr. Beckenstein, make sure you tell the guys over there the next round sent you.
Here's my stat, and this is my big storyline moving forward. We always say what, Brown? That it works itself out, right?
Every year, Jim.
Stop worrying about it.
Every year.
Jim, it works itself out. For the first time in the college football playoff era, the top 5 is unbeaten this late in the year.
All right.
For the first time. And we have more one-loss teams in the conversation for the college football playoffs this late in the year. What we've had the last 2 weekends has been close to being just disastrous for college football playoff teams, but they keep winning these close 3-point games at the end. It's been close to being the snow globe weekend, but somehow they've survived. So for the first time in the college football playoff era, the top 5 teams are unbeaten this late. And you can make a case that all the way into championship weekend, other than Ohio State and Michigan playing each other, they're going to stay that way.
You know, to me, and this kind of ties that in a little bit, if you were to go back 3 weeks ago, USC in Autzen would probably have been a 3-point underdog. And now it looks like they're going to blitz USC. But USC still got a lot of talent offensively if Caleb Williams plays in this game. So twofold. I think a major storyline is maybe the best player in college football shutting it down after the third loss. And if he doesn't, Saturday night could get interesting.
I agree with you. I mean, he's going to score points if he's out there engaged playing. My fear is if he's not playing, it was just such an emotional release. It was almost the release you would have when your season is completely over.
Yeah.
That's why I said it was odd to me.
That's what I thought, too. And look, and this is a kid, say what you want because the team is struggling. He still has 38 touchdowns this year and only 4 picks.
Yeah.
He's only played one bad game, and it was an awful game against Notre Dame. But that kid is so good, and if you have a drop-off to Miller Moss or maybe even Malachi Nelson, a redshirt freshman that's gotten a few snaps this year, I can't imagine how bad this USC team would be.
Yeah. My question for you guys. So let me ask you this question before I do my storyline here. Do you think most college football fans cheer for chaos when they're not in the top 4?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when they're not in the top 4?
Yeah, when they're not in the top 4, right?
Throughout history. It's what makes college football so different than the NFL.
You just want complete chaos.
I cheer for it nonstop.
Yeah, I do too. As a fan, just watching games, I cheer for it nonstop. But if you're an Alabama fan, do you A, cheer for Georgia every week now, or B, cheer against Georgia and pull for the chaos?
No, you're cheering for Georgia.
100% you are, Lance. We're going to put the check right there.
Yeah.
You need all Georgia wins you can get right now.
If you're going to win a national championship again, you got to go through teams like Georgia.
That's right.
You might as well meet them in Atlanta and try to get rid of them.
You want them undefeated. You want them undefeated and ranked number 1, and I think they should jump to number 1 this week.
Yeah, I agree with you because that was a quality win over a really good Missouri
team. And Ohio
team.
State was just against Rutgers.
Ohio State, another fact for you, became the first team in the college football playoff era to be ranked number 1 and trail at halftime. While being ranked number 1.
We keep a lot of stats, don't we?
They do.
But that was at Rutgers, too. Rutgers is they're now 6-4, I guess, 6-3, I should say. Not a terrible team, not your your normal Rutgers team, but they struggled in that game, and they continue to struggle to run the ball effectively.
Yeah.
I do not believe that Kyle McCord's a very good quarterback.
Okay, show me your thing again.
Cheer for Georgia, Jam, or cheer against Georgia in every game?
Cheer for Georgia.
I'll put the check right there. Cheer for Georgia.
You want them to be unbeaten.
That's right.
And to be your quality win.
You
your
want them to be
one.
unbeaten number one.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But
what's your but?
The caveat of that is Georgia's now won 26 straight, 26 games overall, tied for the third longest win streak in the history of the SEC, tying Alabama's 2015 to 16 streak.
Yeah.
28 is the record. Two different Alabama teams hold that.
Okay.
For Georgia to make it to the SEC championship game unbeaten and number one, they will have 29 wins.
You sacrifice that record for the purposes of trying to play for a national championship, absolutely. I mean, that's Alabama's path to a national championship. We can realistically talk about it now that Alabama's passed LSU and is playing better.
If Georgia loses to either Tennessee or Ole Miss,
it gets a little bit tricky. Yeah, I think it does. I think it does because there is a chance you're going to be compared to Oregon.
Well, okay, what if the one loss is to Ole Miss this weekend? You beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, but I think your bigger concern is Washington.
Still play Georgia.
If Washington remains undefeated, there's a chance they're ranked in front of Georgia when and if Alabama beats Georgia. And if you're getting compared to Oregon, and Oregon has beaten a better team on that last day, it could potentially come down to that last thing you saw. I just think you want Georgia number one. I think that's your best path if you're Alabama. You could cheer for chaos everywhere else, and then it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah,
at that point.
if some other things happen, if Oregon does get knocked off, if Texas does get knocked off, if Florida State gets knocked off.
If Michigan State beats Ohio State, if Penn State beats Michigan, I mean, those are the kind of crazy, that's the chaos. That is pure chaos. And at that point, it doesn't matter. You're fine then.
Yeah. All right, that's our storylines today, being brought to you in part by our great friends at Simpio, one of the first people we called here. When we come back, we'll continue the college football conversation and get to Joel Klatt at 10:25. Taylor Corn is watching everything T-Bob Hebert today to see if we can get a little T-Bob later in the show. Not in person, but maybe he reacted to the Roman Empire not dying and burning yet in Tuscaloosa. Tell us about Simpio.
Yeah, again, Dunaway said it. One of the first calls we made was to our friend Blake Patterson, all the fine folks at Simpio, one of the fastest growing companies in the Southeast. When your company joins Simpio, you gain access to health care and employee benefits at prices only large organizations get. Simpio takes care of the four pillars. That is compliance, HR, payroll, benefits. Call today for more information, 205-635-7467 or Simpio.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round hosts a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, presented by Redmont Vodka. LT has in-depth conversations with personalities like Clay Travis and Taylor Hicks. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple and Spotify. And remember to like and subscribe.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Another hour of the show now. LTD&B with you here on the next round. Show number 570 today, and we're to week 11 of the college football season. Forrester, if you can show me the worksheet printout again of the schedule that I sent out from my social media that I print for everyone. Again, the purple ones are the highlights of the top 8 teams involved in the college football playoffs. Impactful games: Alabama on the road at Kentucky. Michigan and Penn State. We've been waiting on Michigan to play this game all year.
Here we go. Finally got to November.
Quick thought on Michigan and Penn State.
I mean, Michigan, unlike a team like Georgia who plays up and down the competition, Michigan's just been playing up. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't seem like they get bored. They have a purpose every time they roll out. And now I think they've even got a bigger one. I think Michigan pops them upside the head.
Yeah, Utah, Washington, up in Seattle. Utah still without Cam Rising, going to be that way. This team is not what they could be, but still could be a challenge for Washington.
Yeah, Bryson Barnes was better this weekend. Utah came out, and after looking so bad 2 weeks ago, they completely demolished Arizona State. So, Utah with that defense, at Washington still, I know they got the win over Southern Cal on Saturday, but Washington's not playing great football.
Their defense has been really bad 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, now you can flush it a little bit against USC, but Lance Stanford did the same thing to them, and Stanford is no good. So Washington is having some defensive issues right now. In Utah, the way their style of play, they can expose defensive issues if you're not willing to hit. Yep. Utah's a physical team.
You go back and you look at this, Miami and Florida State in that 2:30 window as well. Looks good on paper. Miami just got beat 20-6 at NC State this weekend.
NC State is playing better, but still, this is a very disappointing Miami team.
I am baffled. Watching Miami early against Texas A&M, I was like,
so good.
It's going to be a damn good team.
I know, it looks so good.
Yeah,
now
they've just completely fallen apart.
Yeah, we've seen that A&M isn't as good maybe as we thought, but Van Dyke was so good that day and just has not been able to bottle it.
Ole Miss gets Georgia at home, Texas on the road at TCU, a bad Michigan State team who did get a win, a bad loss for Nebraska against Ohio State, and USC and Oregon. So if I ask you, biggest snow globe upset of the weekend, where does it happen? If one of those pink highlights, there's a loss in there.
I think I would have to go Utah at Washington.
Utah at Washington.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to have multiple.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I could see TCU beat Texas.
No way.
That was
what a bad TCU team.
Now, if it's Malik Murphy, Lance, I agree on the road. Not that I think TCU is a really difficult place to play, but Murphy is not. The wins are disguising how average or poorly Murphy has played.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, they've won 2 games, and he did not play great in either one of them.
That game was over. They had the comfortable lead.
Yep.
Kansas State never should have been in that game, and you wonder emotionally how drained Texas might be winning that game.
Yep. It's just, boy, it is hard for me to believe at TCU.
Yeah.
That has been such a bad TCU team.
Either. But I go to, just because they score so many points is USC. I go there. Everyone's going to tell you it's Michigan, Penn State, that is a playoff quality team. But playoff quality game. I just think Michigan is
I think
so
they're good. And I agree with you on USC. If Caleb Williams plays, I'm not going to be surprised at all if this is like a 52-45 type game.
I will say this to Lance's point about TCU.
If he can stay upright.
For whatever this is worth, this is a rivalry that dates back to the Southwest Conference days that Texas has dominated, right? But of late, TCU has been a problem for Texas.
Got their number.
They do have their number. TCU, what is this, 7 of the last 9 they won against Texas. Home and away. So it has been a problem everywhere for Texas.
Yeah, but Sonny with 1 win, right?
Well, he's only been there 1 year.
Right.
The one he had a chance to win, yes.
Yeah, the guy who was helping Texas's defense last year, responsible for most of that. He was a thorn in Texas's side.
Yeah, Gary Patterson had a lot of success against Texas.
We'll see. The fact that their quarterback is not playing great quarterback makes that game interesting. And if Ohio State was playing anybody with a pulse,
they won't do that again until Michigan.
That's right, because their quarterback is a problem right now.
I just don't think I don't think they're the number 1 team in the country. I think Georgia should jump them. I'm not certain Michigan shouldn't. That'll sort itself out. But I think Georgia should be number 1 this week. And I just don't think Kyle McCord's a good enough quarterback for them to win a championship.
He goes through stretches of games where he does not play winning football.
Yeah, there are so many just the quarterbacks we see every week in the SEC had to take over Kyle McCord.
And it's a down year of quarterbacks in the SEC.
But TreVeyon Henderson finally healthy, and he had a really good day against a good Rutgers defense. And then you got number 18. You got Marvin Harrison Jr.
who had 2 touchdowns, but I think only 25 yards receiving.
But he still is such a difference maker.
He is. He frees it up for TreVeyon in this situation. All right, that's the big games ahead. Let's talk more of what went on this weekend in the NFL. We'll get back to college football with Joel Klatt in our next segment. The show being brought to you in part by our friends at Moore's Marinade, getting you ready for every football. Again, football continues tonight. Monday Night Football has the Chargers playing the Jets.
I mean, that's a pretty good game, right? Jets play everybody close.
Yeah, Jets 2.5-point favorites, and Chargers typically not good in prime time.
Jets play everybody close, Chargers play everybody close, so it's probably going to be a tight game.
But it's that time of the year where the Chargers usually make a run to come up just short of the playoffs.
Where everybody starts talking about, man, this Chargers team is the one team you don't want to get in the playoffs. Moore's Marinades and Sauces. That could be your secret sauce for grilling success the remainder of this football season. Their original marinade, the Moore's original marinade, has lower sodium than the leading lower sodium marinades, but you don't sacrifice any flavor for that. It's still got that delicious hickory flavor to whatever you're putting on the grill, be it burgers, chicken, steak, pork, even the veggies. I've used it on veggies. It's terrific. Don't forget the buffalo wing sauce, and I love that honey barbecue wing sauce as well. You could dip, drizzle, or slather that wing sauce on everything you eat, from chicken fingers to burgers, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. See why grill masters prefer Moore's Marinades and wing sauces. Moore'sMarinades.com. You can get recipe ideas there. You can get grilling inspiration there. Moore'sMarinades.com.
RMFT says that Caleb Williams should have stayed at Oklahoma. And other people are saying, Daniel, if he'd stayed at Oklahoma, he had a better defense.
Brent Venables has changed that defense. Do you really think the defense would be that much better? We never saw a good defense in Norman under Lincoln Riley before.
So you're saying if they'd stayed together?
Yeah, I'm just saying if he had said
if he'd have stayed with Venables?
If he'd have stayed with Venables.
He'd have been in the same exact boat last year that he is in this year, where he had to score as much as he could. And then I don't know that this year will be any different for Oklahoma with them.
The Landmine Believer asked, how bad was that Brady Cook interception?
Terrible.
27-21 after holding Georgia to a field goal. That's a one-possession game, and he throws it to the defensive lineman.
Yeah, but I will tell you this. If Georgia misses that field goal, and they did not, it's a 6-point game, and Missouri's got good field position. I actually think if they miss that field goal now, our buddy Matt Murphy, we used to work with in our radio days, big Georgia fan, was texting with me, and he was like, that game was never in doubt. I never once thought Georgia was losing that game. And I'm like, dude, if y'all miss that field goal, Missouri's got the ball in pretty good field position.
I hate to agree with him. I never thought Georgia was losing that game either.
I never felt really comfortable about Georgia.
Georgia's missing something. I'd have them number one in the country.
But Missouri is good.
Missouri's good. Luther Burden is fantastic. And for most of the game, Cook was fantastic. You know what was weird? Is in the fourth quarter, they kept throwing that sideline fade, like the back shoulder sideline throw. Like every other throw, they would not throw it over the middle of the field.
Yeah. That's where bad things happen, Brad. Middle of the field.
Not to good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Good quarterbacks can work the middle of the field, but they would not trust him to throw over the middle at all.
To the NFL, and let's don't dodge this. Let's start with the fact that Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud was a decision that was made in the front office. Bryce Young, 3 interceptions yesterday, 2 pick six. Now, listen, that's one weekend, and Peyton Manning had a horrible rookie year in Indianapolis and went on to be Peyton Manning. But Bryce Young, compared to C.J. Stroud right now, where Stroud against Tampa Bay, 470 yards, a rookie record, 5 touchdowns, no picks yesterday. C.J. Stroud's on your way to being the offensive rookie of the year in the National Football League, and Bryce Young is getting a lot of murmurs from the stands in Carolina.
Yeah, I think right now you could make an argument C.J. Stroud is playing like a top 10 quarterback in all of football, which is pretty amazing when you think about rookie head coach, how bad the Texans were last year.
They're in the wild card playoff discussion.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But C.J. Stroud has been fantastic. And right now it looks like Houston kind of dodged a bullet. Houston fans were so upset that they won that game on the final day last year and basically gave up the number 1 pick to the Bears, who then traded it to Carolina. But it's worked out right now for D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
And Bryce hadn't been awful. He looked awful yesterday.
2 pick sixes will do that to you in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. But
same guy on both of them, right? Was it the same DB that had both pick sixes?
Yes.
Am I wrong about that? I'm blown away at how good C.J. Stroud has looked. Blown away.
Yeah. Oh, and that whole team. I mean,
if C.J. Stroud was playing for the San Francisco 49ers right now.
Oh, with the weapons that they have?
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I'll tell you who's playing better than anybody right now is Baltimore. Baltimore is scary.
You would put them in the discussion as one of the 3 best teams right now in the NFL.
Yep.
And Lamar Jackson is playing at an MVP level. They shuffle in a different running back, it seems like, every other week that is a stud at running the football. And they've got an identity when it comes to their defense. Your Dolphins lose at Kansas City over in Europe, and Kansas City's defense is what's been so impressive. And I was reading all the NFL writers that I read all over the place, and they're starting to question your wins now compared to your losses. You have 6 wins against not the same quality of opponent as your 3 losses.
No doubt about it. The 3 teams Miami has played that are really good teams, they've lost to. And, the Buffalo on the road, Philadelphia on the road, Kansas City was a technically road game, even though a neutral site.
Thought that game was going to overtime, though.
I did too, Lance. And ultimately, it was a much more defensive game than I thought. Both defenses played amazing. For Miami's defense to only allow 14 points to Kansas City's offense and Taylor Swift's boyfriend to only get 3 catches is a great defensive job by Miami's defense.
There's no way I would have ever looked at that game and thought under.
It screamed over, didn't it? It screamed 2 good offenses going after it, but both offenses only scored 14 points. That's great defense in that game. But it is perfectly legitimate to question Miami right now. Going to the bye week at 6-3 is a good record. They're right. They're in the AFC East League because Buffalo continues to lose. But Miami has not beaten anybody of any substance. Their best win are the Chargers, who we just talked about, right? That's been kind of a disappointing team. Yeah. It's their best win.
Elsewhere in the NFL, we talked about Joshua Dobbs coming in, doesn't even know his teammates, wins in Atlanta.
An amazing story.
Las Vegas gets a win with Antonio Pierce. But really the game of the day was Philadelphia and Dallas. That was always an exciting game, a lot of hatred between those 2 teams. And Dallas with so many opportunities at the end. But how about Jalen Hurts' throw to Devontae Smith? The one I think that made it 28, maybe it made it 21 for Philadelphia. Just dropped it in a silo. Perfect route, really good coverage, touchdown, good footwork. And Philadelphia wins again. That Eagles team is darn good again. Well coached, and they have a lot of weapons.
Yeah, Dallas had that opportunity. CeeDee Lamb catches it on like the 2 with no time left. It was a good game. That Eagles team, right now in the NFC, I would go Eagles, Detroit, San Francisco, probably your 3 best.
Yep.
In the NFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
San Fran.
I think the Eagles. I think it's the Eagles.
Right.
Then Detroit and San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it is.
I feel like Brock Purdy will start playing good again.
I guess
when it gets near the end.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I agree with you. There's a gap. It seems like the Eagles have a lot of ways they can beat you.
Yeah, I mean, they're the best team in the NFL, period.
Well, just when Seattle's looking like maybe the best team in the NFC, they roll into Baltimore and get destroyed.
Yeah, by maybe the best team in the AFC in Baltimore. Right?
I think Baltimore is playing, like if I did power rankings this week, I would have Baltimore number 1. Cincinnati be really close.
Yeah, Cincinnati's on a heater as well. They win on Sunday Night Football. Back to college we go. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk to Joel Klatt, being brought to you in part by our friends at Hydra Live. Let's talk a little bit about the weekend here, though, first. Tell us about Hydra Live, and if I could snap my fingers right now and get you an energy boost from an IV bag from Hydra Live, would you do it after your big weekend?
I could use it, yes. It was a long weekend. I am not interested in going to any games anytime soon again.
You're tapping out. The last game you're going to this year?
It's a lot, man. I think people that the older you get, I think you realize that going to consistent game day venues is a young man's game.
Well, let's tell some stories after you tell us about Hydra Live.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. They're open 7 days a week. The newest location in Greystone, 1 in Homewood, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you can't make it to Hydra Live, guess what? Nurse can actually come to you. HydraLifeTherapy.com for more information. Make sure you mention Next Round at checkout. You're going to save 20% off any of their great services. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Hydra Life Therapy. So Johnston RV, Nick and the guys hooked us up with an RV, hooked me up with the driver, Ralph.
So you had Ralph the driver, you, an ex-brother-in-law who you're really good friends with, and then a boatload of women.
Boatload?
Yeah. We ended up having some people bail at the, there's a little bit of me on the road. So I sent out 6 of these videos. I just checked 4 are in drafts right now.
So 4 timed out and did not make them out.
Yeah,
and you
did
didn't
not
know
make
it.
them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the latter videos probably didn't need to get out.
Tuscaloosa game day, you're not getting video out.
Well, I think that's what people are screaming for. They want some of the debauchery.
Yeah.
Some of the wildness that I guess were part of those 4 videos.
Well, here was the thing: there was so many people and so many people going in different directions. Like some people wanted to go to the quad to tailgate, some wanted to go to bars, some wanted to go see our friends at Bud Light. And I ended up just staying. We went to a couple of tailgates, and I went back to the RV and just posted up there.
Lance is the one staying at the RV.
Yeah. So here's what happened. There was like 5 or 6 of us that stayed at the RV, but the RV park was completely empty. Everybody went into the game. So I turned on, our TVs weren't working. So I turned on Paul Register, our buddy. His RV was next to ours. So they were all gone. So I put their TV on Alabama LSU, and then there was an RV across from him. I honestly didn't know who it was, but they left their remote out. And so I put on USC and Washington. So I had both games on to each of my sides. So I was completely content.
Yeah. I was worried about you because I'd not seen any videos. And I texted the girlfriend, and I was like, hey, everything okay? Yeah. We're watching the games. And I was like, how good are these games? And she's like, oh, they're fantastic. Because those 2, at that point, those 4 quarterbacks in the Alabama LSU game and the USC,
I mean, the first halves were
games,
incredible.
boom,
Phenomenal.
boom.
Yeah, I mean, my head was on a swivel. Alabama play, USC play.
And I thought it was ball in hand, last team with ball in hand was going to win both those games. And then, it kind of came apart for USC. And then obviously Jaden Daniels going down when they're down 14, they had no shot.
Jace asked if you signed a neighboring RV up for Tubi. Like, hey, let's subscribe to Uzi so I can watch those.
I'm getting pretty good at the YouTube TV.
Right.
The functionality of that. But yeah, special thanks to Johnston RV. If Ralph is still alive, I don't know if he ever made it back to Decatur.
Well, I'd like a proof of life from Ralph if we could get that.
I'll work on that. But it was a lot of fun. But to me, bouncing around tailgates is just exhausting.
Yeah. All right. So that's LT's weekend. We'll talk to Joel Klatt. Tell us about Johnston RV. We appreciate those fine folks for setting LT up for a memorable final weekend ever going to a game.
Yeah, 2 locations. The one we were in was they brought that unit from the Decatur.
334? Exit 334.
We're always driving up 65, and I see our friends right there in Coleman.
Yeah, I-65 exit 304. If they sell that one lightly used, I mean, just lightly used, right? The one you were in? No damage?
Yeah, we did. We were good.
Just lightly used, so you could buy the one Lance was in. They just got back from the annual Forest River Expo, and that's where they sell the latest travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhome floor plans. A lot of exciting fresh inventory is going to start showing up. So they're doing the Call of Fall campaign that's going to give you great savings on many different lines that will be showing up there. In fact, fifth wheels discounted more than $50,000. Travel trailers starting at just $179 a month with approved credit. Do not forget, with Veterans Day this week, we appreciate the military on this show. You make the United States the greatest country in the universe. No questions asked about it. They love you at Johnston RV, too. In fact, if you're active duty or retired military, great discounts for you there at Johnston RV Center. Just a small way of saying thank you for your service to our great nation. You can see more at I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
The Burnout with the SEC Network's Peter Burns and Ryan Brown weekly at Disrupt the Media on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes of golf and cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. That's a value of $247 for just $89. Or get the Next Round Deluxe Golf Cart for just $119. It gets you all 4 courses with cart, plus an exclusive Next Round Golf t-shirt, koozie, golf tees, and a sticker. There are no restrictions. The cart is good through September 2024. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
As summer starts to fade, get ready to welcome the arrival of fall. But hey, it's not just football season making an entrance. In the world of pest, it's fall invader season. Hold on tight because we've got 4 major troublemakers stepping into the spotlight. Box elder bugs, kudzu bugs, ladybugs, and stink bugs. These pests don't just knock, they barge in like they own the place. But fear not, dial up Wayne's Pest Control now, 865-588-6686, and let's show those fall invaders who's boss. Don't let pests crash your party. Take charge today.
Do you need extra cash handy? Look no further than Legacy Credit Union for whatever loan your lifestyle requires. It only takes a few minutes to apply and request the amount you need to give you peace of mind. With affordable low rates and manageable payback plans, a Legacy Lifestyle loan is crafted just for you. Apply online today at legacycreditunion.com/join. Lifestyle loans from Legacy. Terms and conditions may apply. Legacy is federally insured by the NCUA.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
All right, we'll get to Joel Klatt when he joins us in a second. Part of the show today being brought to you by our great friends at Wayne's. Man, these folks at Wayne's, 50 great years of celebrating doing business right with Wayne's. And right now, the holiday season's coming up. They want to give you the gift of peace and security to your home and family with $50 off reoccurring Wayne's Pest Control services. Keep your celebrations joyful and free of unwanted critters this holiday season. As it gets cold outside, they want to come inside. Wayne's Pest Control will take care of you. And they don't just promise short-term fixes. They promise year-round protection for your home, keeping your family, children, and pets safe. You can get $50 off their services celebrating 50 years of Wayne's. Call 866-WAYNES-1. 866-WAYNES-1, or go online to callwaynes.com.
All right, every Monday, our Monday morning quarterback Joel Klatt joins us from Fox Sports. We'll get to the game he had, Texas-Kansas State. We'll look ahead to Michigan-Penn State, a huge game he's got this weekend. But as he joins us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, as always presented by MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND right now gets you that 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000. More money from MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. First of all, Klatt, I want to say good morning. I hope you're doing well.
Good morning. How are you guys
Doing
today?
fantastic. Thank you.
Wow, that sounds like we're in a courtroom and you're setting him up for, a tough cross-examination.
Yeah. You got that. I got that vibe a little bit too. Okay, here we go. Fire away.
Do you mind spelling your last name and giving us your county of residence, please? So you asked going in. It's so random. I saw the video this morning on TikTok, and I know you've commented on Alabama last night, but I asked you to do it again for our audience. You can go watch all Klatt's videos. You asked the question: Can they run that football and play that physical style against LSU and win the football game and limit LSU to enough points? They did that. Your reaction to Alabama is what?
Thoroughly impressed. That was the best that they've looked this year. I think you would agree. They were really physical at the line of scrimmage, and they did kind of what we would expect Bama to do, which is they dominated the later stages of the game physically, and made it increasingly difficult for LSU to keep up. Jaden couldn't stay in the game. They got to him. The Milroe was really good. His decision-making process has gotten better and better and faster as the season has gone along. And that's in a lot of different ways, not just the way that he throws the ball and his decisions of where he's throwing the ball and the timing with which he throws the ball, but also his decisions to use his legs. They're not hindered. They're not slow. And as soon as he sees something open, he takes it. And you see the explosiveness that he possesses. So all of that has been really, really good. And Bama now, all of a sudden, to me, it's like, okay, well, here we go. They're going to have a win and in. They're going to have 60 minutes against Georgia, and if they win that game, they're going to go to the playoff. At least in my estimation. Now, I know that there's a lot of teams out there that feel like they're going to have an argument even with a loss, but this team has just continued to develop. And again, you think about what they were at the line of scrimmage. Texas beat them up at the line of scrimmage. You guys would agree.
Yes.
And I think that they've just gotten better and better and better. And this is what I said on my show, and this is what I'm so impressed with Nick Saban. There's no examples of guys winning at this level through this many cycles of styles, coaching staffs, recruits. And it sticks out to me that here he is late in his career, probably having the most fun he's ever had, trying to find the identity of this team and find what can be successful for this team. And yet it to me, it speaks to the rigidness that he has when it comes to the standard and the process, and yet the pliability when it comes to the style of the way that they're going to do it. And other coaches, I'm just telling you, and I meet with all of them, are backwards, and they don't even know it. They are more than willing to let standards go in order to acquire talent and the types of talent and treat different talent differently. And so they're not rigid when it comes to standard and process, but they are rigid when it comes to their scheme, their style of the way that they feel like they should win the football game. And because of that, they don't have success over cycles of whether it's coaching staffs or recruits. And Nick does that. And this year has been incredibly impressive. Although, I was sitting there and talking with my guy. I've got an unbelievable guy who helps me out editorially, Steve, and Steve helps me on the games and the podcast. And we were talking last night after the show, and both of us love Bama and love what they did. And they were the most impressive team Saturday. And then he just kind of mentions, he was like, because I'm just talking about Saban and I'm going on and on. And this is not even on the air. And I'm like, man, this guy, dude, this guy is incredible. And he goes, it's still the most talented roster in college football. And I was like, I was like, you're right. You're right.
Hey, so I don't think people are really surprised that USC loses another game and gives up 52 points. Now Alex Grinch is out. What was interesting was at the end of the game where Caleb Williams goes and finds his mom and how emotional he was. And I'm one of those, I would love to see this kid finish the season. I still think there was something to massively play for going into this past weekend. But with that type of emotion, it just seemed a little strange. We talked about it earlier. Do you think there's a shot that he shuts it down?
I hope not. The first 2 picks in the draft last year didn't, quarterbacks-wise. Now, one of them was in the playoffs, so, CJ was in the playoffs, so he wasn't going to shut it down. Bryce didn't affect his draft stock going and playing Kansas State. I still believe that this position is a reps position. So whether you're still playing for a Heisman or a national championship or a conference championship, you are still developing, always. You're still developing, and this notion that you're a finished product and you can all of a sudden shut it down, I don't think is correct. Now, if he does, I'm just going to be I'm not going to be one of those that's like, I can't believe this. This is selfish. I'm not going to. It's his decision. If he wants to do that, then it's his decision. Having said that, though, it's still a position that requires development. Even when you're the best player in college football, even when you're the hands down number 1 pick, things can happen to you on the field that you will learn from every single day. And I would always go to this. If you go back to Tom Brady's first Super Bowl, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, so bear with me, but Tom Brady's first Super Bowl, and then you look at the quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls since then. So go back to, what was that, 2001, right, when he beat the Rams. And you go back since then, I believe it's 10 or 11 guys have won Super Bowls. You average out their college career, they are experienced players. And I know Caleb is already experienced, but the average of those Super Bowl winning quarterbacks since Tom Brady won his first is something in the mid-30s when it comes to starts. It's well over 1,600 passing attempts on average. We just don't have guys that don't develop. So I think that being said, is there something to going and playing the sport, playing the position? Yeah, there is. And so I hope he still does that. But yeah, it certainly seemed interesting, the outpouring of emotion that we saw from Caleb. And last thing that I would say is there's been some notion that, like, well, Caleb doesn't care. Look at how much money he's making. Look at he's going to be the number 1 pick. He cares. He cares about this. I know him decently, having in the LA area, seeing him at functions and so on and so forth. The guy cares about winning. He wants to win. He's competitive. And that was a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, and that's how I took the sobbing was, man, I'm doing everything I can, and we're still not getting over the hump. Joel Klatt's with us. I want to ask you about Michigan, because we've been waiting all year for this game, finally to have a test on the other sideline. Yeah. And I got asked yesterday, well, what do you think Michigan's weakness is? And I was like, I really don't know. I don't know if they've got one. If I asked you what's Michigan's weakest link right now, what would you say it is?
It's a good question. They're not as explosive and dominant as of a run team as they were a year ago. They get the small chunks like they always have, kind of the boa constrictor style, and they just kind of squeeze the life out of you. The difference is that last year they would also break off 1 or 2 runs a game of 30, 40, 50 yards. They don't do that anymore. And so now that's on JJ's shoulders. Now, the difference is like JJ has taken the next step, and their passing game is more explosive than what it was a year ago. And then the last thing that I would say is I don't know how great they are defending the pass, because they don't have a dominant pass rusher like they've had in the past. That defense needs hard edges. Right. This is why Aiden was so good. And then, we'll see that. I know everyone wants me to sit there and be like, well, they don't know the signs. That's the weakness. But the fact of the matter is the last 2 games after all of this came to light, they've done exactly what they have done to everybody, which is just squeeze the life out of people. They have been totally dominant. No game has been in question whatsoever. Purdue scored all of their points either garbage time under 20 seconds or because of short fields, a muffed punt or a fourth down that Michigan went for on their own 34-yard line. That's the only reason Purdue had points. Same thing with Michigan State. Michigan was going to beat them by 1,000 or as many as they wanted to. This is the most dominant team. Granted, they've played a really poor schedule, but so has Georgia, to be fair. And they've been much more consistent and much more dominant during the course of the year.
Joel Klatt is with us, presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to MyBookie.ag. Get that 50% sign-on bonus there. They'll match it up to $1,000, 50% there at MyBookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Michigan State, Penn State. The game we've been waiting for, finally, for Michigan to get challenged is the big noon kick on Fox.
And by the way, finally, Penn State showed some life offensively here in the last week. So that makes this even more interesting.
There's no doubt. So you spent a lot of time around Texas because this is another team now Alabama fans are watching with all these teams in front of them. Is the feeling Quinn Ewers will be back for the TCU game Saturday?
Yeah, I talked with him. He's going to try. He wants to play against TCU. He's going to have a great shot, and I think it's just going to matter how safe they want to be. Now, I'm not saying that doctors are influenced, but players and coaches are influenced by what's going on the field. And I guarantee you, the way that the last 2.5 quarters went for Malik Murphy against Kansas State, everyone in the coaching staff was thinking to themselves like, oh my goodness, I pray that Quinn's going to be okay. And he himself, I sat and talked with him. He had a grade 2 at AC joint separation. We compared lumps. You guys have seen mine, you know, and we talked about it. And he said, like, I really think I can be back this week. Now, that's not official. So, no one go out there and report. I'm not reporting anything. Quinn's going to try to play. And quite frankly, they need him to. Because after you got outside of the script of the first quarter, Malik Murphy was nowhere to be found. And in fact, he was a clear hindrance on that team, gave Kansas State the opportunity to get back in the game. And, so there's part of me that's like, if Quinn can't go, do you run Arch out?
Oh, boy. I mean,
I don't know, man.
But how good
that was just like it was. They should have got beat, and the reason was Malik Murphy.
I know.
I hate to say it, but that's the truth.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's all about the script, why do you not just go Scorsese and just write a longer script?
Hey, why was Avery Johnson not playing more?
It's a good question. They tried him. Avery, he's not just a runner. He can throw it more. He can throw it more than they showed. But it's not like he got all the reps in practice. And when it became very clear, Kansas State was not going to run the ball against T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, those two tackles. Bama found that out firsthand, right, in that game in September. Those two tackles, I think, as a tandem, probably the best in the country. And it was going to be a throw-only game, and they needed the experience of Will Howard, his decision-making, and it turned out to be the correct decision. With Avery, I believe that the package of plays that you have set for him have more lean bend towards the run game because of his speed and explosiveness. They tried him in the third series. It was abundantly clear. Run game just wasn't going to happen. It became a pass-only game very quickly in that middle of the second quarter. And at that point, it was going to be Will Howard's show. I mean, he's still a guy who won a Big 12 title, so he did remarkably well. I thought that some of the play selection in the red zone, Brownie, I know you and I were texting about that on Saturday. And then the last decision for Kansas State. I'm sorry, I don't buy in the fact that you've got to, if you're a road team, you always have to go for it. I generally agree with that. If you put yourself in position where one snap can win the game as a road team, as a dog, you take it. But if you look at that game in its totality, there was no reason to believe that Texas was going to be able to move the ball in overtime. None. In fact, they were going to just end up kicking field goals. And so for my money, Kansas State was the better team at the point. You extend the game, and the more snaps that are going to take place, the more chances I thought the Wildcats were going to win the game. So I just felt like that was a poor decision, putting the snap on the 4-yard line. If it was the 1-yard line, it's a lot different. But the 4-yard line, you've got to basically just drop back. They read the 2 receiver side. It's like, I would have loved a different play call at that point, but I thought Kansas State should have kicked the field goal.
And by the way, 1st and goal from the 4 in overtime, a touchdown, walks it off. Nick Sirianni lines up behind Will Howard and pushes him in 4 straight plays for the win and walk it off in Austin. As we get ready for another huge weekend, Bo Nix with
and by the way, Bama fans were probably just like dying watching that, right?
Yes. Yes, I was. I mean, yes.
Sorry, Bama
yes,
fans.
They were. 6 touchdowns from Bo Nix, and now he gets USC.
Yeah. How about that? He's going to have 8,000 touchdowns this week. Nick should be in the Heisman. He should go to New York. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And that Oregon team, man, I get it. They lost to Washington. I get it. I think they could win the national championship.
Me too.
I really do. Like, they're outstanding at the line of scrimmage, and he's playing at such a high level. And you know what he's not done? He hasn't gone all of a sudden Bo Nix in 1 week on us. Now, maybe that pops up, and you guys all know what I'm talking about, where he just throws out like a wild performance where you're like, we didn't expect that to come. But his efficiency and decision-making, and he seems, man, when I sat and talked to him in Utah, he seems so grounded. And one of the things that he said to me really resonated, because I was an older guy when I played, and I was married my last year, and he's married, which, by the way, how his wife changed her name. Like, if your name is Izzy Smoke, you don't change your name.
That's right.
Not at all.
I digress. His perspective is just something I really appreciated, because he didn't expect to have this year. And all of us that played a long time, I started over 35, I think 36 games, which was a lot. He's on 56 now, which is wild. And the perspective you gain in terms of like, boy, if I had one more year, knowing what I know now. And by the way, any of us can do this. It doesn't have to just be sports related. Think back to any situation in your life that you wish you would have handled just a little bit differently, even if you had success doing it. It can be in business. It can be whatever. It can be a relationship. And you just think to yourself, boy, if I had one more bite at the apple. Well, guess what? Bo Nix has that extra bite at the apple. And I think the reason that we've seen him play so well and so efficient is the lessons he's learned when he throws out those games where he's not as efficient and doesn't make good choices and his heart rate gets going too fast. And there's something to that now. And his perspective, man, he was very calm. I could tell that he wasn't living and dying with every throw, which young players do and veterans tend not to do. They're dangerous now. If they can get in, they're a dangerous team.
All right, he is Joel Klatt. You will see him on the Big Noon Kick, Michigan, Penn State, Saturday, 11 o'clock on Fox, 11 Central, noon.
Could we see a Bama-Oregon national championship?
Potentially.
Bo Nix playing Bama.
Wouldn't that be funny?
That be amazing?
Wouldn't that be funny?
I feel like it'll be Oregon versus the SEC champion, whoever that is, in the semifinal.
Like a 1-4?
Yeah.
Could be.
But not if it's Bama.
Yeah, I think Alabama would be
Bama.
the 4.
Right,
Oregon could be, man, they're probably not going to be the 1.
Oregon could be 1.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah,
the one team, I know you're trying to get out of here, but man, this feels so much like 2014, the first playoff year, where it's like Florida State has this path that we know they're not going to get beat. And we're all sitting there and like, do we really think they're one of the 4 best? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they are, guys.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But you're
Their
right.
fans hate me anyways, like I care.
Hey, but if hypothetically, if Alabama played Georgia, let's just say that's the matchup in Atlanta, without Brock Bowers, who do you think wins that game?
Man. Coin flip without Bowers. 3.5 Georgia with Bowers.
Fair, yeah.
Tight game.
That's what I would say. Tight. I would say tight.
Klatt, thank you. Have a great week.
You got it, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
guys.
Joel Klatt with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Get that sign-on bonus 50%, up to $1,000. That's how much they love having you there at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round for that bonus.
And also by a couple other great sponsors. Our friends at Alabama Power want to remind you to manage your account and check on energy usage and find out where you can set alerts when your power will be restored during storms. All you have to do is go to the Apple and Android device store for your Apple and Android devices and download the Alabama Power app today. alabamapower.com/mobile app, alabamapower.com/mobile app to download today. And also by our friends right there at A+. Brownie, take us to break.
Jimmy D, I'll do just that. A+ Tile Home Remodeling. They are the ones that redid the master bath in my house. When you're remodeling your home, the way you get your money back is through master bath and kitchen. Master bath and kitchen. That's what my man Brad Bell specializes in. Scotty is showing you photos of the bathroom the way it looked when we purchased our house back in 2015. Functional, but not what we wanted. We wanted it updated. We liked the darker colors. Finally, we got around to it. Jennifer scoured the internet. She found Brad Bell, and Brad came in and did it exactly the way we wanted it. The darker colors, more updated. His crews were timely. They were efficient. They were clean. They did amazing work. I could not be happier. In fact, Lance saw the results, and he's like, I'd like it done in my master bath. And just to show you, Brad's not hung up on one way of doing it and one way only. Lance went from darker to lighter, just like he wanted it right there. Master bath and kitchen. That's where you make your money back, and that's what Brad Bell does best. 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Football season is here, and Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protection against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy. Open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. APR's annual percentage rate, rates, and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
It's time to start thinking about employee holiday gifts. Consider getting your hardworking guys a pair of Red Wing boots. Each day, your employees are on the job site helping your company succeed, so reward them with comfort at its best. The Red Wing mobile shoe truck can visit your shop and fit your employees with a great selection of boots. Or Red Wing gift cards can be purchased at your local Red Wing store, available in all amounts. Whichever program you choose, your employees will appreciate the quality, service, and selection from Red Wing shoes, and they'll also be thankful they have such a great boss. Reward your employees this holiday season with Red Wing shoes.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. LT takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmond Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com. Hey, Bradley UAB tonight at Bartow Arena, 7 o'clock, starting basketball season as it all begins today. Both those teams, 25-win teams last year. So it should be a great contest. Bartow Arena, tickets available 7 o'clock for that one. And Alabama starting their season as the number 24 team in the country
at home to Morehead State, 7 o'clock at Coleman Coliseum for that contest as well. A lot of newcomers for both those teams. UAB's got 9 newcomers. Eric Gaines is still there. Mark Sears still there for Bama as we get going for hoops. Auburn plays the most challenging opening game tomorrow night up the road in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, taking on number 20 Baylor. Auburn and Baylor tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Basketball season's underway. So, too, our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa getting you ready for this holiday season.
Gift card, simple solution. You can buy them online 24/7 right now. The wife or girlfriend's going to love this. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Stop in, go see the fine folks at the Woodhouse Day Spa located at the Summit Shopping Centers. Tell Stuart and Casey, the guys from the Next Round, sent you. Or again, you can just go online, Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
All right. So one big win over the weekend was Ole Miss over Texas A&M. Rockstar, if you'll give me cut number 10, here's Lane Kiffin talking about a funny exchange he had with Jackson Dart during this contest or right when it comes to an end. Here's Kiffin.
I really do feel like our offense knew they were going to score. It was actually like, don't score too fast. I mean, it was 75 yards away, and just the way they broke the sideline huddle was like, and when they scored, like, okay, guys, we're going to go score, let's not score too fast. So even Jackson came off and was like, we scored too fast. I'm like, can you be positive, please? And then he's like, they're going to make the kick. And I'm like, can you be positive? So finally after the game, he goes, all right, I'll stop being negative. I think he was watching too much Bobby Knight this week about the power of negative thinking.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin, big win for them, setting the table this week at Georgia. Hey, and if you're in Lane's situation, to be, after you lost to Alabama in a game that he put a lot of into, and then they lost that game, to be back in this situation, the path to Atlanta doesn't appear to be there now, but to still have a chance maybe to get to Atlanta, maybe to be if chaos happens, to be in the playoff discussion.
I mean, if I'm Ole Miss, Alabama's got to play 2 road games. I mean, that's your path, right, is they got to lose both road games, and you've got to beat Georgia on the road. So, yeah, I mean, the path does not appear to be there.
Yeah, but a win over Georgia keeps them
massive
in the conversation for the playoffs. Chances of the SEC getting 2 in and it being the winner of the Alabama-Georgia game and LSU seems slim and none, but if you beat Georgia, it leaves some doors open.
Yeah, crazier things have happened. I mean, if they win this weekend, they will win out, and they could be one of those teams that gets the benefit of not playing in a conference championship game and still getting in.
Boy, that'd be brutal for them to win this game, win out, and your one loss is Alabama, and you don't get to go to Atlanta.
It'd be very Ole Miss-like.
Their path to Atlanta is officially closed if that happens.
But how many times was that Florida and Tennessee back in the 90s?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, absolutely.
Happened a lot. Our friends at Milo's bringing you the Milo's app. Great chicken tenders are there for you now. Also, you can get the loaded fries. All you have to do to get a free shot at the loaded fries and stuff is use our promo code NEXTROUND. Just go to the Milo's mobile app. Use the promo code Next Round and check out those saucy fries right now with our friends at Milo's. Football tonight, also basketball starting. You can get all the plays at lanceslock.com, where you're coming off on a historic weekend.
Yeah, historically bad.
But not a good way.
No. Look, we own it, man. I met with Taylor before the show, and we talked about this. It was just a bad weekend. I really don't know how to sum it up. It was weird. It's been a weird college football year. The NFL was just a bad 1-4 yesterday, but it's been a really weird college football season. It's pushed, so it's really pushing me. 9 years I've been doing this. 8 years we've had winning years.
Do you remember the year it was a losing season?
I think it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just been tough this year. It really has.
So 3 or 4 years ago is your only losing season in the last decade of doing this.
Yeah. So, look, I feel good if you've been with me the entire time.
Are we on the wrong side right now this season, or are we close
we're
to 500?
on the wrong side. Yeah.
We're on the wrong side for the year right now.
Yeah, the record might be close to 500. I would say the record's probably right at 500 in the NFL and sub 500 in college. But, we've started giving out units. We've lost some big units, so that's compacted a little bit. It's just been a bad year. But, we find a way to bounce back. Again, I've been doing this long enough. I know there's ebbs and flows. And we'll bounce back. I mean, we'll ultimately win. I've got a lot of confidence in that. It's just been a bad couple of weeks.
And college
really
basketball's
bad
about to
weekend.
start. College basketball's about to start.
Yeah,
too,
so look, there was 120 games today. I've already been going through those. We've got one college basketball play up out of the 120 games tonight. 3 NBA, and we've got the side and the Chargers and Jets. So we keep, hey, look, this is a 24/7, 365-day-a-year thing that I've been doing for a long time. Even before we had the pick service, I was doing a lock of the day going back 20-plus years. So I've been doing it for a long time. It was a terrible weekend. I own it. I always say transparency is the best way to do this. I'm not going to be one of these guys that gives out half the picks to one country and half to the other and, finds a way to navigate saying it was a good weekend. It was a shitty weekend.
Well, what was the record? Just the record was what?
Oh, it was terrible. Saturday we were 2-10 and 1-4 yesterday.
That's 3-14.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't get much worse than that.
No, it can't. There's only one way to go, right?
Yeah, that's almost that's almost harder to do than going 14-3.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's Jim Dunaway like. It really was.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Righteous Jimson was 5-5-1 this weekend.
That's not what Lance wanted to hear right there, was that you were actually better.
Well,
I don't think that was
I don't think that's much better.
Well, I don't think that was a necessary time to bring that up.
Lance'sLock.com. Stay tuned this week. More on Lance'sLock.com as we get closer to this big college football weekend, Week 11. When we come back, one more hour to go. That includes trash. It includes our 4 downs. And the show is being brought to you by our friends at Harbin's Outdoor. Best part of your weekend, though, Harbin's Outdoors got the backyard, so you can go out there and ponder what a 14-3 week would look like.
Yeah, I need to send out some pictures because it is, well, the only thing not done right now is a fire pit. But Chili and Bullet are absolutely loving it. And it looked perfect with he put some different landscaping down, put some bushes back there, and a lot of the pine straw. The dogs have already kicked all the pine straw up. They've already dug a couple of holes back there. But still, fantastic work from our friend Jeremy. I had the opportunity to see him in Tuscaloosa this weekend. But pools, landscaping, hardscaping, Jeremy and his team, one-stop shop for all of those needs. Harbin's does it all from the install to the lighting, final hardscapes around the pool, everything in between. It's beautiful work. You can find them on Instagram at Harbins_outdoors. See it for yourself right there, or call or text Jeremy directly, 205-300-0718. That's 205-300-0718.
Subscribe and set alerts at Disrupt the Media on YouTube.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy, all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Told you about the basketball starting tonight. NASCAR ended yesterday. Ryan Blaney wins the NASCAR Cup Series. He makes the pass into second place with 20 laps to go, passing Larson. He wins the Cup Championship. He won the Coca-Cola 600 back on Memorial Day weekend that got him into the playoffs. Didn't finish in the top 5 in the last 12 regular season races. In fact, 5 times finished 30th or worse. But because he got that ticket by winning early in the year, makes the playoffs, would have never been a championship contender doing the old school scoring from back in the Earnhardt days where you had to have a good season. But he wins it with the playoff setup that they have now. Ryan Blaney's 29, very popular on the Cup Series. Your Redmond Vodka stat of the day here. We'll get to that after you tell us about Redmond Vodka.
Yeah, locally owned and operated. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind the incredible product that is Redmond Vodka. If you're at a local bar or restaurant, ask for it by name. If they don't have it, tell them to get it. Available in 22 states, gluten-free, 8 times distilled. It is Redmond Vodka.
The stat of the day is pretty amazing in the Associated Press poll. Oklahoma State was unranked. Then they win Bedlam. They come in the AP poll now ranked 15th. From unranked into 15th. You like the wild swings of the Associated Press poll. You like that?
Well, I mean, I think you should vote on all the data. And all the data right now, do you think Oklahoma State's top 15 team in the country right now?
I would say yes.
And then I got no problem with it.
Yeah.
I look at the teams that are around. Missouri, Oklahoma State will be a phenomenal game. Tennessee, Oklahoma State will be a phenomenal game. Utah, Oklahoma State will be a phenomenal game. So I think you probably got them in the right spot.
You know, the biggest loser over the weekend was Air Force.
Right. They were in line to possibly be the Power 5.
That was the most surprising outcome of the Saturday to me, and nobody paid attention to it.
Well, look, believe it or not, we had Air Force minus 13. They lose 23-3. I haven't seen – you guys remind me of a game – minus 6 in turnovers.
Yeah.
Air Force turns it over 6 times. Army didn't turn it over. They end up winning the game going away. They missed
23-3, right? Was the final? Yeah.
They had a missed 32-yard field goal, 6 turnovers.
I've got their 12 possessions right here. 12 possessions, 2 interceptions, 4 fumbles, 2 failed fourth downs, 2 punts, and 1 missed field goal.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, it was just snake bitten all over.
That's awful.
And they had a chance. They would have been in the top 15. And again, if they would have won out, I believe they were going to be right around cracking the top 10. Now that they're out, James Madison's not eligible. And you look at Liberty's schedule, Liberty's going to be favoring the rest of their games.
I think Liberty might be your guy, right?
Yeah. Tulane still controls. They were better in the playoff rankings
than Liberty.
They still have a good chance. We'll see. By the way, Army's first win over an AP top 25 since 1972.
Wow.
When they beat Air Force, who was 19th ranked.
If you had told me Army won that game 24-23, I would have believed you. But to win it 23-3, I could not believe that outcome.
Yeah. A major win for Army there that nobody saw coming. Iowa and Northwestern was 10-7 at Wrigley. Give them the stat, Brownie, about Wrigley Field.
It was that football game was the 7th highest scoring game in Wrigley Field this year. A football game. They only play baseball games at Wrigley Field.
Right.
Oh, no.
And occasionally a hockey game. That was the 7th highest scoring game at Wrigley Field, and it was a football game.
6 Cubs games were better. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Minnesota all lost, so Iowa likely punched their ticket with that win to the Big Ten championship game. By the way, in a 20-minute span in the first half, Iowa had the ball 20 minutes in the first half. 20 of the 30 minutes, Iowa had the ball and had only 89 yards of offense. They had it for 20 minutes and had 89 yards of offense.
I saw somebody tweet, and I wish I could credit whoever it was, but somebody tweeted during the primetime games, Alabama, LSU, and USC, Washington. And he's like, I watched Iowa play today, and now I'm watching these games. They're not playing the same sport.
Yeah.
It's not even the same sport that they're playing.
To your point, in that game, there were 70% completions and 1,300 yards passing and 14 touchdowns just in Tuscaloosa and the L.A. Coliseum.
And then you had Iowa.
At the same time. Yeah. And then you had Iowa, where neither team went over 170 yards of total offense.
I mean, awful. And we're playing a game in a baseball stadium. It just could not have gotten worse.
More of the Saturday in college football in our 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tell us about Slice, LT.
Yeah, 4 great locations. Get in, see the Bajaya Brothers. Outstanding pizzas. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Dun, 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 dun. Where did I write this down? Dun, dun, dun. Here it is, right here.
4 downs.
4 downs right here. More impressive, Mike Elko getting Duke to back-to-back bowl games, or Hugh Freeze on the verge and likely getting Auburn to a bowl game this first year?
It's got to be Elko, because Duke is traditionally such a bad program. I thought Auburn was going to be better than advertised this year. I don't know.
I think you had them 8-4, did you not?
I did.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as good as I thought they would be, but they're getting better.
Yeah, they're at least getting some confidence on offense. You can't deny the fact, you can't look past the fact that they've played the 2 worst teams in the SEC the last 2 weeks. But the good news is they've got confidence. If you can find a way to beat Arkansas, it's going to be tough. Find a way to beat Arkansas, you're going to be on a 4-game win streak going to the Iron Bowl. That said, I think we need to appreciate the fact that Mike Elko has done such a good job at Duke. They were a little bit disappointed that they're only just getting bowl eligible.
That's right. Did it with his 3rd-string quarterback, not just no Riley Leonard, all the way down to his 3rd-string quarterback this past week.
We got to remember how bad that program is. They're 3-2, 6-3 overall. Any other year, we would be talking about him being National Coach of the Year. But after starting the year the way he did against Clemson and had a chance to beat Notre Dame, we're almost a little disappointed.
I know, yep.
That's a credit to him.
Second down.
Which of these stats is more surprising to you? That Arkansas won their first game in the Swamp as an SEC member Saturday since 1992, first win in the Swamp, or that Florida State clinched a spot in the ACC championship game for the first time since 2014. Which one of those surprised you most?
Florida State.
I mean, that was Jameis Winston's last year, right?
Yeah.
And that guy's already had an NFL career and pretty much retired and then came back for a minute.
because they won back-to-back. They had 13, they won it when they won the national championship. At 14, they went undefeated, won it, and they got just pummeled by Oregon.
But Arkansas has been in the league since 92 and had never won at the Swamp. Now, I know they don't play there every year, but still, I mean, that is a long, long, long time to go.
Long time.
But Florida State, when they went to the ACC, I thought they would have far more success than this long term. And it has fallen off since Jimbo Fisher. So I think I'm most surprised by that one.
Third down.
Most surprising stat here, that Colorado, with a new offensive play caller, had -7 yards rushing in their loss this weekend, or that Dylan Johnson of Washington against USC had 199 yards before contact running the football. I'll say that again for you, Brownie. He had well over 200 yards rushing. He had 199 yards before contact against the USC defense. Which surprised you most?
I mean, I was not thinking that Pat Shurmur was going to take over the play calling for Colorado and all of a sudden their offensive line learned how to block. I mean, I just didn't have any expectations for Colorado in that game. Now, it was probably worse than I expected.
Dylan Johnson averaged right at 10 yards a carry.
Yeah, but LT, 199 yards before anybody touched him.
No, that's remarkable. It really is.
Completely embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you get your defense coordinator fired.
Yeah. I mean, if it was two-hand touch, he ran 199 yards before anybody touched him. So a crazy stat that one is. One more.
Fourth down.
Most impressive to you that Jalen Milroe had 374 total yards from scrimmage in prime time, or that Arizona beat their 3rd consecutive ranked team?
Arizona, Jed Fish. People are talking about Dan Lanning possibly winning a national championship. Kalen DeBoer, let's not forget, still undefeated. They've beat Oregon. but I've got no problem with Jedd Fisch being your Pac-12 Coach of the Year.
I don't have a problem with that. And while Arizona was impressive, I felt like that was potentially the first time that Tommy Rees and Nick Saban had gone to Jalen Milroe and said, this is your game. It is in your hands. The run game is going to be centered on you. Obviously the pass game is going to be centered on you. We are putting this game in your hands. And we're going to ride or die with you. That felt like the first time that was the case for Alabama. And for him to respond the way he did on that stage, playing against what a lot of people thought might have been the Heisman frontrunner, and for him to play toe-to-toe with a Heisman frontrunner, I thought was it was his Mona Lisa. It was his moment in Crimson, and there could be more to come. It could be against Kentucky, it could be in the Iron Bowl, it could be against Georgia in the playoffs. I don't know, but that was the first moment where, as they like to say in the fight song, you writ his name in Crimson Flame, right?
Yeah.
And, I was so impressed by Jalen Milroe and so happy for him because I really like the kid. He's such a positive guy in the interviews, even when things had not gone well. He's a guy that had caught a lot of criticism from us and from the fans. And to deliver the way he did on that stage, I think, it's just such a great story Saturday night, I thought.
That's our Four Downs, brought to you in part today by our friends at Champy's world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Stop by and see Sterling and the crew there. Had a chance to see Sterling last week. Sterling is a great dude. You'd love spending time with him. Also, swing by 119 in Alabaster to enjoy the food as well, not just Sterling's company. Hand-cut chicken fingers, deep southern fried chicken, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. It is champyschicken.com. Trash coming up in a second, but a couple more sound bites from this past weekend. Rockstar, let's start off with cut number one, Nick Saban. He gets asked the question that Brown was talking about a little bit earlier. Klatt has indicated this a couple of weeks now, that maybe this is Nick Saban's best job coaching to date.
Nick, considering where you guys were after Texas uncertainty at quarterback, I think earliest loss maybe since you've been here, how much credit do you give yourself? Is this one of your better coaching jobs to get to this point?
I think the credit goes to the coaching staff and the players, and this group of guys have shown tremendous resiliency to keep working to improve. I think they trust the coaches. They respect what we're trying to do to help them be better players, and it's resulted in a team that has consistently improved throughout the year, and we just got to try to keep doing that.
I think in hindsight, and listen, the script for this season is yet to be finished, so you don't know what will happen to Alabama. They may lose in Lexington and Auburn. They may win the rest of their games. I don't know. But I think one day, if this team wins an SEC championship, goes to the playoffs, if they happen to win a national championship, you could look back and say the moment Nick Saban did his best coaching with this team was against South Florida.
See,
Jalen Milroe has not been the same quarterback since then.
I have that written down, Brown, to ask the question at some point this week, so I'll ask it now. Is benching Jalen Milroe coaching brilliance, or are we painting it as a scenario now of that's just a coach that benched his quarterback just to see what else he had at quarterback, or was it done to motivate Jalen Milroe? It's being painted now as it's coaching brilliance by Nick Saban, that he benched him to show him and to motivate him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but I also think there's a reason that Tyler Buchner transferred in. He believed he was going to play, and I think they did want to see what they had in a backup quarterback.
Because I'll tell you what the benching and what happened in the South Florida game, what it did. I think one thing it did for Jalen Milroe was it got the fans off his back. Because I think the fans saw what was behind Jalen Milroe, and they're like, all right, we'll take Milroe back, please. Forget everything we said leaving Bryant-Denny after the Texas loss. He's not that bad. Give me Milroe back. I'll live with Milroe the rest of the year.
Well, since that, 15 total touchdowns and 3 picks since that game. That's total touchdowns. And that counts as rushing, which was extensive Saturday night, obviously.
What you want him doing, yeah.
Yeah, so, he's a different quarterback since then. You cannot deny that. Even that very next game against Ole Miss, the second half, the whole game, he was 17 to 21, 225 and a touchdown. And he did throw a pick. But he's been a different quarterback since then. And whether it was they thought they had something else or they wanted to see what else they had or whatever, if you win the rest of your games, you'll look back on it as a brilliant move by Nick Saban, whether it was accidental or not.
Yeah,
it's just the way that works.
And I will go back and tell you, even after the 2 interceptions, am I not right about this? He had gotten Alabama the lead, and the defense couldn't hold that lead.
Going to the fourth quarter?
Fourth quarter, Alabama had the lead going to the fourth quarter.
They did. It's hard dependent on the defense. I think it was a mutual. The offense was struggling as well. But, yes, they led going to the fourth quarter against Texas.
Well, I think this is going to be a wild weekend. I think this is the bloodbath weekend.
Uh-oh.
Well, so right now, these teases I like throwing to you, the 10-pointers, and it was Furman that was said, Dunaway, do not be playing college football teasers. But you get Alabama to pick this weekend in Kentucky. You feel good about that?
Oh, 100%.
Texas to pick TCU.
Oh, God, yeah.
Arizona pick against Colorado.
Arizona, Colorado, that one scares me a little
Really?
bit. Yeah, it does, yeah. Anything with Colorado scares me.
Washington a pick over Utah.
Well, it's a little scarier, but I would take Washington, yeah.
I mean, there's some interesting games
out
there.
To get a 10-10 teaser? How many? A 10-point
Hey, Georgia
teaser?
minus 1.5 against Ole Miss.
Oh yeah, I mean, how many of these do I have to do to get the 10 points?
3.
Only 3?
Yeah.
So I could take Alabama at a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I could take Texas at a pick 'em, and Georgia gets given 1.5.
Yeah. Just eat free money, right?
Oh my gosh! How do they stay afloat?
How would you feel about Oklahoma minus 2.5 at home against West Virginia?
Just 2.5. Coming off a loss, too. I mean, they got to be energized, right?
Or devastated. They could be crying with their mama.
That's why this is a gamble.
You can have Carolina at a pick against Duke. Oregon only 4.5 against USC.
I mean
there's going to be some massive
upsets. Can you do like
this
6 or 7 of these, Lance?
Yeah.
Dunaway do as much as he wants.
That's fun stuff. Kirby Smart, after the win. I mean, where are you guys? Listen to Kirby and then tell me where you are.
Okay.
On this Georgia team. They're still unbeaten. They're the 2-time defending national champs. They've won an SEC third best win streak of 26 games. They got Ole Miss, they got Tennessee, they got Georgia Tech to set the record for the longest win streak in SEC history before they ever get to the SEC championship game, which is 28 by 2 different Alabama teams. And Kirby says, hey, 30-21, but it's an SEC win, right, Kirby?
Kirby, in these tight games, is the locker room scene pretty much the same in terms of, obviously, you guys come out in the second half and you do what you need to do to pull out W's?
Look, all games are going to be tight. I don't know, like y'all are acting like we're having tight. I mean, tight games are what you do in the SEC. I mean, there's the margin of victory. It is hard to win. Kieris and Broderick just came out to me and said, Coach, it's hard to win. Make sure these guys enjoy it because they realize how hard it is, across the NFL. It's hard, man. I mean, you're going to get every team's best shot, and I thought our guys played a really good football team tonight, and we practiced really well prepared for it. I was proud of the way they played. I don't know if that answers your question, but the locker room's great. I mean, they've been in these kind of battles.
I will tell you this: the moment was not too big for Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri.
No,
they never looked like they were out of place in that game.
In Missouri?
Missouri
No.
never looked out of place.
It was a terrible interception, and it almost got returned for a touchdown. Would have been called back by the blindside block, but a terrible interception by Connor Cook, and it was all Georgia basically from that point on. But up until that point, Missouri had played toe-to-toe with them in Athens. I was very impressed with what Missouri did up until that point.
Coming into the weekend, I was like, man, this game would be so much more interesting if it was in Columbia. And I don't know if Georgia would have won that game.
I don't know. I mean, they barely did last year in Columbia. There's something, Drinkwitz or Missouri or something up there. It's a tough out for Georgia. I don't know what it is right now.
And Carson
Missouri's
Beck played well.
Yeah.
Carson Beck's a good quarterback.
He is.
He is a really good quarterback. I thought he would be, and there was a moment this year, I guess the Auburn game, that I was starting to wonder how good he could be.
I agree with you.
Since the Auburn game, he's been really, really good.
Yep.
And he's been really, really good without Brock Bowers.
So most of the places that you go, and I guess this is everywhere around college football, but you go in a bar and you're watching on game day different games. Well, there's no volume up from the game. It's just loud music. So I couldn't hear what they were talking about, the Georgia-Missouri. How much did Brock Bowers get brought up? And did they have a recovery timeline for him? Because I do think it becomes, you heard Klatt, without Brock Bowers, he's got that game around a pick with Alabama.
Yeah. I had my volume primarily on Texas K-State. I didn't get over until Missouri really convinced me they were going to stay in that game. So I don't know the answer to your question. I didn't listen to the CBS telecast as much until late.
What's your question again? Phrase it again for me. What?
No, I'm saying I couldn't hear any of the broadcast for Georgia, Missouri. So I was wondering how much they talked about Brock Bowers and when they thought he was coming back.
Not a lot. Not a lot. Yeah. But it's before the SEC championship game or the SEC championship game. It's either Georgia Tech. I don't think it's this weekend. I don't think it's Tennessee. Maybe Tennessee, but they were going to be cautious, I think is what they said in the broadcast.
Yeah.
Cautious with Brock Bowers. Because when he comes back, they're of course thinking playoff run. They're thinking SEC championship and then the playoff games with him. They don't want to re-injure it. All right, we'll get to trash when we come back. College football discussion there for most of the show today. Brought to you by our friend Storm Restoration Roofing and Greg from Pell City. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Greg and his wife own the company. It's locally owned. It's been locally owned for over 20 years. And the best part about Storm Restoration Roofing and Greg Nelson is that the insurance companies recognize that name. They trust them, and that helps you when it's time to replace your roof, if it's just gotten old or if you've had storm damage. To get that roof inspected, it's a good time to do it. You call Greg up right now, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531 for that free no-cost roof inspection. Look him up on Facebook as well, Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. You're not average, and the New Balance Birmingham store has the shoes and apparel to perfectly match your unaverage self. If we were all shaped the same and had the same level of fitness, and if we all walked and ran exactly alike, well, then I guess an average shoe store selling average shoes would be just fine. But you deserve better. At the New Balance Birmingham store, our specialists will match you with a custom pair of New Balance shoes that fit you perfectly. Come see us at the New Balance Birmingham store. Your feet will thank you.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
The Next Round Golf Cart is here. Your chance to play 4 area golf courses for just $89. Get 18 holes in Cart at Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. A $247 value for just $89. Get your golf cart now at nextround.store.
One big final segment coming up on college football. Then we'll get to overtime today, and you'll hear from Nick Saban as Alabama, number 8 in the college football playoff rankings, coming off a big win over LSU, who is number 14 in the rankings, gets ready to go on the road to Kentucky who, by the way, could slip in to the back end of the rankings.
Tonight? Or tomorrow
Tuesday night.
Yeah.
If Kentucky slips into the back end of the rankings, if they slide into 25, then that's a case for the SEC champions at that point.
But then it's hard to keep them there, right? If Alabama beats them.
It would be. It would be.
Yeah.
How bad is Mississippi State right now?
Very.
Pretty bad.
To the point that I saw there was some college football guys speculating if Lincoln Riley turned to Zach Arnett, would Arnett pull the chute and go work for Lincoln Riley as a defensive coordinator, and everybody kind of part happy? See what I'm saying? Like basically Mississippi State's like, hey, you really need to take that job.
Yeah. I mean, you give me my $4.5 million, and then
it might happen.
He's going to pay me $2 million a year.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. Our friends at Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila, the best tequila out there, made with 100% pure agave, exceptional tequila right here, and it's formulated and aged in wood barrels from the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. This gives it such a soft but yet robust agave flavor. It's crystal clear. And it's just the best tequila out there. All I can say is try it, and you will not be disappointed. Maestro Dobel Diamante Tequila. These college football playoff ranked teams lost this weekend. Air Force at 25, Kansas State at 23, USC at 20, UCLA at 19, Notre Dame at 15, LSU at 14, Missouri at 12, Oklahoma at 9. I don't know how many of them above LSU stay in it. LSU will stay in. I don't know if Notre Dame will. I don't know if UCLA will. USC, I don't think will. Kansas State, I don't think will, and Air Force will not.
See, the thing about the playoff rankings is you don't know who are the others receiving votes, right? You can't really, because if you did that same exercise, say, with the AP, you would have known, well, here are the teams that are just outside, so they're obvious to move in.
I keep a list.
Okay.
Using the AP.
Do you check it twice?
North Carolina, Liberty, Fresno, Arizona, Toledo, all won. So did James Madison, but they're ineligible to be in the college football rankings.
So stupid.
So North Carolina, Liberty, Fresno, Arizona, Toledo, Duke, Iowa, SMU, Kentucky were sort of that next level of teams.
If that's the teams they're looking at there to replace some of those, I don't know how many fall out.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a great point.
I mean, it's going to be hard to justify putting some of those in a top 25.
I think Kansas State, USC, and Air Force will all fall out.
Lance, did you ever think there would be a point where USC's unranked this year?
No.
Yeah, that is crazy with Caleb Williams back. All right, here we go. It is time for Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Hit it, Rockstar.
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? This is awful. It's still March. How many days in March?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Buying a home, major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right who do mortgages the right way. 205-815-9200 or online, mortgageright.com, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. So, dude is a tourist, and he's in Lisbon. He walks into a cafe, tries to order a pomegranate, and puts it in his phone to try to translate, and it comes out grenade. So server panics, and dude is apprehended almost immediately.
So he's asking to purchase a grenade?
No, he wanted a pomegranate juice.
He's got a phone app. Like I want a pomegranate. The way it translated was I want a grenade.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, can we use some common sense here? I don't think the guy is going to walk to a desk at a juice bar and try to order a hand grenade.
A waiter contacted police who arrived exceptionally quickly and in force, by the way.
Yeah.
No, but
maybe a little common sense at play here.
But let's go to New Orleans where I can actually order a hand grenade.
Correct. Yes, Jim, you can.
That is true.
If you were asking
times.
If you were asking for the actual weapon, they would think you're crazy.
Yeah.
They assume it's the drink.
Can I have a hand grenade, please? And I would not get arrested. In
What's
fact,
in a
I'd be
hand
applauded. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you may.
A lot
Give
of
that
sugar.
young man one.
A lot of sugar in a hand grenade.
Yeah, we went my buddy Brad Jackson's bachelor party, and one of the guys had never had hand grenades and drank them all the first night. I think we went Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think I ended up staying Sunday night, yeah. But the first night we went out, he drank hand grenades and did not leave his room again.
What's the alcohol? Is it a lot of alcohol?
Yeah, it's a lot.
And by the way, it tastes like sugary water going down.
So you can't taste
They
the
got the shark attacks now. Have you seen one of those?
I have not.
Yeah.
Does it come with a cool necklace?
No, it comes
drink
with
that hangs around my neck
it's
like the hand grenade.
The drink's got I guess grenadine. They put something red in it, and they've got the sharks, the plastic shark stuffed in it, so it looks like blood in the water.
We used to have a place at Jacksonville State called Gators on the square there at Jacksonville State, and if you drink the fish bowl, you would get one of those like rubber alligators. It's like that big. And people would hang them from their
This place called Lulu's in Atlanta back in the day when Buckhead used to be nothing but bars, and they did the same thing.
Yeah. No, but if I'm right, if I remember correctly, usually when I'm drinking hand grenades, I don't remember anything correctly. But it does have a little latch that it can sit around your neck, and you drink the straw out of the big glass, right? It's mobile. I can take it on the streets with me, the hand grenade.
I think so. I think you can get them in the yard glasses, too.
Yeah. And they're plastic. And
I'm not a big hand grenade guy.
Yeah. And last time I had them, help me out in the chat room. I think I'm right about this. That
Tropical Isle is the place, by the way.
Yeah, that I'd get the hand grenade, and it had a little, almost like I'm playing the saxophone. I got that little latch around my neck to where the saxophone's going to hang right here.
I don't want to believe
that thing all day.
Don't want to believe this story, and I'm sure Rocky might have some pictures, but the Joro spiders, known for their vibrant yellow and black patterns and ability to weave parachutes, are thriving in the Carolinas and are expected to spread across the East Coast in the coming years, according to a new study.
Well, that's a pretty spider, though. I'll say that. I'm not normally a big
some nice
fan.
legs. Got some nice long-ass
Beautiful
legs.
How about these? They grow the size of the palm of the hand. They've been spotted in Maryland as they head north by riding their parachutes. Now, Clemson University researchers have found the Joros, which made their way to the U.S. aboard shipping containers from Asia nearly a decade ago, have expanded and reside within a 75,000 square mile ecosystem across North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Would there not be something we could eat that would be eating that all of a sudden is like, ooh, let's order out tonight, and in the wild, that's what's eating that? Like, do possums and raccoons not like those things?
Ooh, I would. I'd run the other way. I think I'd rather have the rotten apple core.
I think a possum will eat about anything.
I mean, are they venomous, LT?
Yeah, although the spiders are large and venomous, scientists say they really don't pose a threat to human beings because their fangs are too small to penetrate people's skins. But I can't imagine having one of those things crawl on me. Like, I would rather deal with a snake than a spider, I think.
I had to, I think, Lance. At least
I'm not a big camping person. My daughter went camping this weekend up at DeSoto Caverns.
Next time will be my first.
I just, you know.
I mean, as far as like really pitching a tent.
Yeah, they campsite out in the wild, and I was like, you know, I wanted to ask questions that I was just like, I'm not going to ask questions because I don't want to put my fear inside of her.
I think
I had questions about bears and mountain lions and wildcats.
Yeah.
And boys, but I didn't ask any of those questions.
You know, a lot of camping in the Old Testament, then God gave us air conditioner. I think that was his way of showing us he's done with that.
A better way, yeah.
Do you guys watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
It's on. Don't like sit and watch it. It's just on in the background.
When I was a kid, I loved it. I loved seeing the floats.
You know why it's hard to watch? Because I'll glance up when there's a band playing.
Yeah, lip syncing?
No, when the band's actually playing, like the marching bands,
Oh,
like
okay, I got
Homewood
you.
or
Yeah.
Vestavia
Right,
or somebody's locally that's playing, or any band from, hey, this is the marching troubadours from Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay, I'll watch. But it's the lip syncing that bothers me.
Terrible.
When it's the guy from Saved by the Bell.
Mario Lopez.
Yeah. And he's like, the weather outside is frightful. There's no band, there's no instrument, somebody's playing anything. It's just him holding a fake mic.
Drum kit doesn't have a mic on it.
Get prepared.
Guitar's not plugged in.
97th annual event. Cher is going to be the headliner.
Oh, wow. Really? They were able to get Cher.
She is going to
I believe in love. I believe in love.
Cher's going to make her appearance just before the parade's end, signaled by the arrival of Santa's sleigh.
So it'll be Cher and then Santa.
That's right.
16
Which
giant
came first, Cher or Santa?
16 giant character balloons, 26 floats, 32 novelty and heritage inflatables, 12 marching bands, 700 clowns, and 8 performance groups.
I would like to be a rope holder for Snoopy one year.
Would you now, Jim?
Yeah. Would that be a good bet payoff?
Gotta go
bracket challenge payoff? You go and have to be a rope volunteer?
I don't know. How hard is it?
Man, we were talking about the bracket challenge this weekend, and somebody was telling me that they lost a bet, and this dude had to work at Love Stuff for a month.
Ouch.
Had to work at least one shift.
Employee discount.
One shift a week for a month.
Welcome to Love Stuff. How may I help?
I recommend this one.
That would be a brutal
you got to
payoff.
put gasoline in.
By the way,
but if you're single, single dude working at Love Stuff, I mean, is that not fish in a barrel at that point?
Probably so. I don't know.
I don't know.
Weird fish sometimes, I would imagine.
Okay, so this is an etiquette advice on communications and some phrases we use and the way we actually should use it. First one, do you want to? Now, this phrase is great when you're offering someone a choice. Do you want to go to lunch with me? But as a way of delivering orders, do you want to take out the trash? It's indirect, fake politeness comes across as belittling. What you say instead is, will you do me a favor?
Take out the trash. Yeah.
Do you want to take out the trash?
I really
Nobody
don't,
wants
but I'll
to.
go do it, yes.
Yeah. Another one. Here's the thing. Now, this phrase insists that whatever follows will be the final authoritative take on the subject at hand. So it seems a bit self-important what you say instead if you're offering an opinion, considering prefacing your remarks with, I think. Now, these two words remove any suggestion that you're issuing a declaration.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Another one. Well, figure out a way. Now, this phrase is conversation ender. It means, while it's important to delegate, leadership demands that if an employee needs help or tries to communicate about a roadblock, your job is just to help them work through it, not to insult them. What to say instead of, we'll figure out a way is, well, let's talk about it. It is what it is.
I hate that one.
They basically say a shorthand for stop complaining. What to say instead? Offer a bit of empathy. You don't need to be phony or overly demonstrative, but saying something as simple as, that's tough, I'm sorry you're going through that, can make a difference.
Yeah, it is what it is one of my least favorites.
That's tough. I am sorry you're going through that, Ryan.
It is what it is. I'd rather hear that.
Another one, not to say if you want my honest opinion. What to say instead is...
Rockstar, when we say that, Rockstar said, no, I want you to lie to me.
Yeah.
You want to be honest with you, Rockstar?
No, God, no.
Yeah, I want you to lie to me.
People want help, support, and solution. Saying maybe instead of offering your honest opinion is perfectly fine. Preface. We'll end on this. We've got a sex-crazed man that has revealed, quote, the love mansion, end quote, he lives in with his 6 wives and claims the atmosphere he's created makes any visitor there want to, quote, have sex.
He's got an interesting look going.
Yep. He's got that pineapple, too.
He does, yep. And I'm not sure anything on underneath here. I'm not sure how safe this photo is for work.
Now, the sprawling house, which has 20 rooms.
Real quickly, though, he looks like the bionic Orlovsky a little bit. Like his arms look bionic, like not real because of the tattoos. And at a distance, a little bit of Orlovsky.
He's got a little Zach Arnett.
Yeah, a little Zach Arnett.
So they've got a 6-meter wide gold bed. Another that's a fetish dungeon. Now, that dude is named Arthur O. Urso. Now,
am I sleeping in the middle tonight, or am I third from the left or second from the end?
Boy, making that bed would be a pain in the ass.
Oh, no Mandy, good night.
Now, he hopes he can start a family in the home alongside with his 6 wives, which happily live in the huge house together. The, quote, love nest lies in his hometown in Brazil. So...
I've got pillow C tonight.
He's got this sex dungeon. It's equipped with a wooden red chair with leather and chain contraptions, handcuffs, red candles.
That's not a sex dungeon. That's a bathroom.
That's
I
a
see
bathroom.
a toilet and
I
a
don't
shower.
have a dungeon picture.
Hey,
but
do you think his girlfriend scoured the internet looking for looking for a contractor that built a pink lit bathroom?
What do you want to do in the shower? Ball pit.
Yep, ball pit.
That's a white light. Everything's glowing.
You guys think this ends happily ever after?
Hey,
I do not.
Can we go back to the picture of all of them standing around? The second girl from the left, did she help us out in Ocean City? Was she the girl that was the photographer? What was her name?
V-Money?
V-Money. Is she V-Money?
I
can't remember what V-Money looks
little
like now.
librarian look, right?
Yeah, very large glasses.
Yeah.
I like how you ask if that looks like her, but you can't remember what she looks like.
In my head, that's what V-Money looked like.
Hey, where are the other 2 wives?
That's a good question.
One's taking a picture.
Yeah, one's got to take the picture.
The other one fell over the side.
The other one's getting him some underwear.
Yes.
Wow. Quite the look there.
Go get my underwear. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, are you a VA or a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Visit their locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply mortgageright.com/TNR or call 205-815-9200.
Hey, Adam Schefter, when you're doing a live shot from your hotel room, I would always suggest making the bed. That's just a bad look.
Yep. Interesting choice there for Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Speaking of live shots, T-Bob Hebert is going to join us on one on the other side.
On the next segment?
Next segment. T-Bob Hebert, you have asked for him today. T-Bob willing to do it. He's on his way.
Breaking news, T-Bob Hebert talks Roman Empire with us coming up on the other side. Show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken. They bring you this hour every day, champyschicken.com.
You can't ignore the elephant in the room. Watch it at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The Next Round golf cart is back and is presented by Urology Centers of Alabama. For $89, play Limestone Springs, Cross Creek, The Meadows, and the renovated Woodward Golf Club. $247 in value for just $89. Or get bonus gifts with the Deluxe Golf Cart for $119. No restrictions, good through September of 2024, but supplies are limited. Buy right now at nextround.store.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, our friends at Way to Wellness can help you if you're getting older and your blood pressure, cholesterol not doing well. Your diet can help you. You can also lose some weight too. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. All you have to do is go to this website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation's free. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. You know, there's been a big social media surge all summer long where women ask guys how often you think about the Roman Empire. And I've thought about that question since T-Bob was on the show with us on Thursday last week or Friday, how often he thinks about the Roman Empire.
Yeah. T-Bob Hebert with us now, off the bench, ESPN there in Louisiana, 7 to 10 every morning. The Volume Sports Snaps. He's about to tape one of those. Welcome in, T-Bob. How are you? Good weekend?
Well, I had a great weekend, boys. I've been battling shingles for 2 weeks, and Papa done turned a corner yesterday. All my nerve pain is pretty much gone. Shingles are almost gone. Saints win. I'm feeling ecstatic. Look, and plus, I would like to thank Alabama, right? Everybody in this world wants clarity. There's nothing worse than kind of living in the purgatory of who am I? Who are we? Are we good? Are we not? And up to this point in the year, because of this incredible LSU offense, there had been this kind of constant tease that like maybe you were championship good, right? Like maybe there's a world out there where you're going around and have it. After this game, it's clear you're not. You have run into 2 championship level teams this year. I would say in Florida State and Alabama. You could say 2 playoff caliber teams. That's what I would say. And the games played out exactly the same. For about 2.5 quarters, your offense was doing enough to keep you and even give you a lead at times. But in the end, just a complete and total defensive collapse ends up costing you any opportunity that you had. And it goes back to what we said the other day, boys. This was going to be a wonderful test of the old homespun wisdom of you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? Like, is that actually true? And in the ultimate team game of football, that is true. So, thank you to Alabama. Probably clarified things for me right now. I could just be happy with try to go 10-3, maybe like win a New Year's Six bowl. And I'm looking forward to the Alabama UGA heavyweight match. So we're never going to get in Atlanta. Cause I don't know. I'm actually kind of shocked that y'all are so happy about being a team that lost to Ole Miss. Like, y'all say the standard hasn't fallen, but I don't know. It kind of feels like it has with the reaction a little bit.
It is hard to believe.
But I'm sure it hasn't, though.
T-Bob, in my opinion, the 2 best quarterbacks in college football are Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, and both of those guys have 3 losses each because their defenses suck.
Yeah. No, there's a ton of similarities there, and unfortunately. Look, I have no animus towards Matt House, like at all, right, on a personal level. And of course, Alex Grinch just got fired at USC. Now, Alex Grinch had way more bad on the resume than does House. But the reality of coaching is ultimately it is a performance-based business. And even though LSU has personnel issues, especially after reviewing this film, I am just flabbergasted at what the strategy was to defend Jalen Milroe. I know you're afraid of him throwing the ball because he's been explosive this year, but they straight up put a game plan out. They game plan like how you would want to play against like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. And I'm not exaggerating there. There's actually some I have some sources that say that at least one coach who spent a lot of time in the NFL basically told his players that on the plane on the way back was, look, man, don't beat yourself up too hard. This game plan is the same thing we used in the league against like Peyton Manning. Like, I don't know why they did what they did. Every piece of analysis that we had defensively with LSU this week came with like the core caveat that priority number 1 would be like spying Milroe or really trying to contain him in the box and then see what you can do. LSU said, F it. They're like, we're just going to drop a ton of guys into quarters like 15 yards deep, rush upfield and see what happens. And Jalen Milroe absolutely murdered them. So I think, look, man, I don't know. When the defense is this bad and you're paid $2 million if you're Matt House, one of 5 coordinators in the country, it's just quite simply not good enough.
I will tell you, I'm horrible at social media, but I did take time yesterday to search hands coming out of the grave GIFs.
Yes.
To tease your show.
Hell yeah.
To tease your show, I was like, you got to go listen to T-Bob when he wakes up and he does his morning show because it's going to be epic. It's got to be epic. Was it an epic rant this morning? No.
Hey, look, it's a very again, I find myself oddly at peace with the loss. Because it is so clear. The games that hurt to lose are when you feel like you had it and you effed it up, right? As a competitor, I can lose to the team that was better than me and just be kind of like, okay, they were better. Like, I remember losing to 2010 in Cam Newton. And he had the Heisman run where he like stiff arms Pat Peterson going into the end zone. And I'm sitting on the bench. The crowd's going crazy. And I remember thinking like, we're going to lose. Like, yeah, it's just, it's what it is. Like, this game is over. But whatever. It's not because, like, we shot ourselves in the foot. We just ran into the best football player I've ever seen. And again, as a team, Alabama is much better than LSU this year. And that was painfully clear the other night. While the offense of LSU may be better than any single group in that game, the LSU defense is just, and we said it, like, sober analysis dictates that probably Alabama win this game because of that LSU defense. But you gas yourself up, you get pumped. You want to find, and I'm going to do it again. I'm like that stupid Goofy meme. I'm going to talk all this crap again next year. I'm going to come on here the week before the game, and I'm going to crap all over you, and all y'all Bama fans are going to spend all Sunday in my mentions, and guess what? It don't mean shit to me, okay? I'm coming back because I ain't stopping. But, you know, this year it is what it is.
I will say this for those T-Bob Hebert with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline for just a few more moments. To those who didn't take time to search out your reaction to those that would call Dallas Turner a dirty player for the hit, I thought your reaction was interesting.
It's so dumb, and I'll try not to curse here. It's so dumb. It's football, guys. It's football, guys. What great player have you ever known that goes to hit someone and is like, I'm going to hit this guy responsibly. Like, I'm just going to hit this guy a little soft. Like, I don't want to hit him too hard. I have never met a single football player worth a damn in his life that has ever approached the game in that way. I mean, on Friday on my Baton Rouge morning show, one of the biggest parts of my rants was like, be violent. It's one of the best parts about football. You are celebrated for being violent. It is something that is quite literally lost in every other facet of society. No, like literally anywhere else, violence gets you in trouble. You are supposed to walk away no matter what. The football field is the one place where that is not the case. You make somebody bleed, you make somebody cry, you hurt someone, you are celebrated. Now, I will say this, you know, my perspective comes from someone who I was a dirty player. I love cheap shots. I love stuff after the whistle. I love everything. We used to have a double KO knockdown player of the week, somebody that we would highlight that we just wanted to knock the hell out. And so, like, no, like, I wish I had a killer like Dallas. Somebody in the morning show chat this morning, Alabama fan, was calling him Dallas Sweep the Leg Turner. I agree. Because that dude goes out there and sweeps the leg consistently. And guess what? I wish I had a player like that. So, no. I mean, look, could have been targeting. Like, if you want to be mad about, like, something like that, that's the more nuanced conversation. Dirty player, dirty hit. To me, it's just football. I wish that Mason Smith or Harold Perkins could have caught Jalen Milroe up there and, like, broken his jaw. That would have been great.
T-Bob Hebert, friend of the show, and you guys wanted to hear from him. There you go. He's about to go record with Aaron Murray the latest snaps.
Look, Alabama, look. Just go do something. Like, don't you measure yourself in championships, not regular season wins? Like, go win the SEC. Go beat Kirby Smart. Are you going to let him cuck you once again? I mean, you're still barely clinging on to having this winning record against UGA and Kirby. Like, go beat him, and then you shut everybody up. Or you're going to lose. You're not going to win the SEC again, and then you're not going to win a national championship for the first time ever in the Saban era over a 3-year period. I mean, I don't know. That's up to y'all, okay? And don't come at me. You're just at that point, you're just yelling at a poor little kid. You're stealing candy. I'm out here worried about going 10-3. I'm out here worried about beating Graham Mertz, okay? My problems are not your problems. So you deal with whatever you got to deal with, okay? I'm out here trying to make sure Garrett Nussmeier might have to be ready to go against Graham Mertz and Billy Lampier.
Thank you, T-Bob. Have a great week.
Y'all take it easy.
All right, buddy. See you, T-Bob, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I did think one of the most amazing parts of that game was Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe putting Harold Perkins in the dirt in the end zone. Put him in the dirt.
Yep.
That's Harold Perkins, guys, and that's a quarterback.
Harold Perkins, surprisingly, with 6 tackles and 1 sack. I don't remember the 6 tackles. I remember the 1 sack that Milroe held the ball forever. I don't remember the 6 tackles. Harold Perkins, who's one of the better defensive players in America, was a zero factor.
He was, and
in that
again,
game.
A quarterback putting him in the dirt in the end zone was crazy.
Our friends at the University of Montevallo want to remind you that as your son or daughter approach junior or senior year in high school level, or maybe you want to go back to school, keep Montevallo in mind. Montevallo.edu. 23 NCAA Division II fully funded scholarship sports, and so much more, including new theater department, music department buildings, business schools, and everything else that continues to grow at Montevallo. Find out for yourself. Check out the price point as well, montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu. All right, always good when a guy comes back on a show after he's talked a little crap. And he's such a good-spirited guy, and he always makes me think. I love me some T-Bob Hebert. I think he's a creative guy and love the fact that he'll come back and circle back.
Yeah. I am really surprised going back to SEC Media Days that LSU's in this spot. I thought year 2, well, you're seeing it right now with Kalen DeBoer. You're seeing it with Dan Lanning. I mean, year 2 for really good coaches and good programs, they usually jump up. It hasn't happened for USC and it hadn't happened for LSU, and both of those are really surprising.
Garrett Nussmeier in the swamp, that's a tricky game for them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If Jay Daniels plays and he's 100%, then they're fine, I think. But Garrett Nussmeier, it's a tricky game. And Florida's not great.
You guys asked the question about Caleb Williams. Why would Jaden Daniels not use this concussion as an opportunity to not play again?
He may.
Yeah, he might.
And it may be perfectly legitimate, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
because right now he's a first-round quarterback.
I think he is. Well, there's a lot of first-round guys right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be a heavy quarterback draft. It's a really good – because I think Bo Nix has played himself into the first round.
Yeah. By the way, I remember I read you this past week, 10 quarterback matchups, 5 quarterback games, 10 quarterbacks that sucked in the NFL. There's room for these guys to go play well or go up there and be bad like all these other guys who we thought were going to be good, to go up there and play bad and then shuffle in some new guys. Quarterback play in the NFL.
I'll tell you this.
It's down.
Brett Rippon starting for the Rams yesterday.
Was that bad?
He is awful.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, awful. And Jordan Love ain't much better.
How's Clayton Tune for Arizona? 53 yards they had. 53 yards, Jim. In an NFL football game, they had 53 yards of offense.
And I'm afraid, and I forgot who we had the conversation. I think it was Brock Hewitt on Unlocked. The NFL trade deadline doesn't go deep enough into the season. Because, I mean, you really, once you get to this point, like, and you're sitting at 3-6, like, I don't think Matt Stafford's coming back.
But that's half the season. Why would it go further? I don't want you to be able to
well, baseball goes a lot deeper.
Yeah, and baseball plays 162 games, and it shouldn't go as deep as it does. Is it fair that Max Scherzer, if he was still a shell of himself, could have won a championship this year playing that deep into the season, not for the team?
Daniel Jones is out for the season now with an ACL. I do not know how the Giants went into another week with Tommy DeVito as your backup quarterback.
Well, I can't believe they got beat like they got beat. That was
But how do you go another week with DeVito as your backup when Josh Dobbs was out there, who's obviously better than Tommy freaking DeVito?
Yeah, you can pick anybody off any practice squad, by the way. I mean, just for nothing. You can go get anybody off a practice squad. All right, there's the show. That's a Monday reaction, and we got an added T-Bob experience for you as well. Can't beat that. Hang around. Don't go anywhere. Overtime is next. We'll get to overtime. You'll hear from Nick Saban going into the Kentucky game, road game that would clinch a spot with a win in the SEC championship game if Georgia handles Ole Miss. So possibility of Atlanta being clinched this week in Lexington. We'll hear from Nick Saban coming up on the other side in overtime, and then Hugh Freeze as they try for bowl eligibility after Arkansas. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America. And overtime today being brought to you in part by our friends at Gutter Cap. You know, C. Stu and I, we've known each other a long time. You've known C. Stu longer than I have, Brownie.
I have.
Yeah. Over 20 years locally owned and servicing the Birmingham area is our friends at Gutter Cap. That patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate gutter cleaning, backed with a lifetime warranty. That's what you get with our friends at Gutter Cap. Just go to this website, guttercapbirmingham.com, guttercapbirmingham.com, or you can call them up, 205-823-2212. 205-823-2212, guttercapbirmingham.com, 45% off the retail price if you tell them about the next round. It's guttercapbirmingham.com. So Nick Saban to the podium in a second, coming off a huge win over LSU that I don't think anybody really put Alabama into the college football playoff conversation until today.
Yeah, and Nick Saban, I think we'll probably be asked some about that. I think interesting injury updates. You got a quick update post-game on you didn't really know about Deontay Lawson and Jaden Key. I think those are two significant injuries defensively. Probably to it, less significant against Kentucky than they would have been against LSU, obviously. Yep. You were as healthy all year as you've been for that LSU game. Alabama was as healthy as they've been all year, and I think it showed. I mean, it's probably the best overall game when you consider the quality of the offensive opponent, the way that defense played, and then the way the offense played. Best overall performance by Alabama this year, and I don't think it's any accident they were completely healthy. So I think you do look for injury update here pretty early in this news conference.
Milroe is playing. At one point, quarterback was a big concern for this team.
Yeah.
He's playing so well now. The receivers are playing so well now. The running backs. The offensive line only allowed 2 sacks and not really a ton of pressure in this game. Where's Alabama's weak point right now? Don't say kicker, because Will Riker missed 2 kicks.
It was Saturday night, boy. I jinked the heck out of him, didn't I?
You did. 40-plus yard kicks, but he missed both of them in the same place.
It's probably – I don't know how good they are at receiver, but it is what it is. Like, Ja'Cory Brooks got hurt in the game. I didn't even know he was playing.
Right.
I never saw him on the field, and he got hurt. I think Isaiah Bond has developed into a really good receiver. Burton has been at times, but then there are games like Saturday where he's just not much of a factor. Nyblack was open deep on that one ball. Milroe couldn't get it to him. So, if I had to point out a weakness on this team right now, it's probably still receiver. I think they've gotten better in the offensive front. I think that showed Saturday night.
The scary part is slowly they're figuring out Caden Proctor's playing a little bit better, and they're
giving him help.
Figuring out how to help him out. I thought, and you guys in the chat room, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Jam Miller did a wonderful job of picking up blitzes. And for a true freshman, sticking his nose in there to be a 5-star blue chip running back, to want to stick your nose in there and pick up a rushing linebacker like Harold Perkins, I thought he did a wonderful job.
And you've developed a really good, I think, rotation with he, McClellan, and Roydale Williams. I think you've figured out that good back rotation. You've got fresh backs in there often. And, again, the more Jalen Milroe runs like he did Saturday night, the better those backs are going to be. Because now if I'm Kentucky, LSU got sucked into this. T-Bob was just talking about their defensive game plan. Their eyes got so much on Jalen Milroe in that run game, the backs were wide open. And now if I'm Kentucky, I got to prepare for that. Right?
And if you're coming up to stop the run, what does that open? That deep ball again from Jalen Milroe.
So, if you're Kentucky's defensive coaches right now, you probably had to hit a little bit of a reset on a game plan, seeing Jalen Milroe with that many designed runs Saturday night. It was more than just broken plays that he was beating LSU on with his legs.
Here's Nick Saban. Let's listen in overtime today to the Alabama coach before they go to Kentucky.
After watching the LSU game, there's probably the most complete game we played all year, especially the way we executed in the second half. I thought offensively, we controlled the line of scrimmage. We had great balance. Jalen played really well, obviously, being the player of the week. But, I think that, this team has created an opportunity for itself, so everybody's got to make a choice on what do you want to do to prepare and to continue to play at the level that we're capable of playing at and to continue to improve. And, I don't think this is a time for anybody to be complacent. I know that even Sunday morning when I got up, I was like, wow, I'm tired, but you got to go, man. You got to keep going. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep focused on what you have to do to get better and to prepare for the next game, because Kentucky is a completely different type of team than what we played against a week ago, and what we did last week is not going to have any impact on what we do this week. They're tough, they're physical, they're well coached. Coach Stoops does a really, really good job with his team in terms of the competitive character that they play with and the intangibles that they have, and they're 6-3. And they've got some really explosive players on offense. The quarterback has played really well for them. They've got great balance on offense. Their defense is tough and physical and really well coached in terms of what they do. Berrien Brown is a really good returner. So they've got lots of good players, very challenging preparation for both sides of the ball.
Yeah, do you have an update on the health of Deontay and I just forgot Jalen Key?
No, I don't really. I think we would prepare to play in this game because both guys have injuries that are day to day in terms of what they're going to be able to do. So it's not just a matter of whether they would be ready to play in the game, but can they practice enough to be ready to play in the game? So that's going to be, day to day. So, both guys, I would have to say, if you have to say, would be questionable because it is questionable because I don't know what they're going to be able to do from day to day.
Katie,
What went into getting Jay Miller and Kendrick Law more involved on offense this past week, and just what can you say about their patience of kind of waiting their turn this year and being ready when their name is called?
Well, K-Law has been a significant player for us all year long, especially on special teams, and he's had some role on offense, but we did expand that role a little bit. Guy's a great competitor, a really hard worker. He's got a skill set that I think can be utilized offensively, and I think we're starting to use that. Jam has played really, really well all year long. Jace has, played a lot of football this year and a little bit banged up, so those guys have gotten more reps in practice. So obviously wanted to give him and Roydale both a little more time in the game, and both guys came through and did a really good job.
What do you remember about the 2002 game when you were at LSU at Kentucky with the Hail Mary?
Look, I remember we didn't play very well. I remember they poured Gatorade on the coach already. I remember there was about a 30-mile-an-hour wind that we had at our back, and the guy threw the ball and it just kept going and going and going. Then their guys misjudged the ball and tipped it, and Devery Henderson caught it and ran for a touchdown. So that's basically what I remember.
From a novice perspective, this offense seems to get more multiple every week. Is that just a byproduct of Jalen earning the coaching staff week by week, or is this just the evolution of this offense?
No, I think that it's probably a combination of both. I think as Jalen gets more comfortable, more confident, is reading and seeing things so he can actually do a little more and do some different things. But I also think that the rest of the guys around him are getting more comfortable and executing better. So all those things contribute to us being able to do a few things that we can take advantage of. But that's different every week in terms of what kind of defense are you playing and what do they do, and how can you try to take advantage of it.
With Ja'Cory Brooks' role in the offense being smaller this year than last year, how has he handled that in terms of maturity, attitude, mental approach, those things?
Well, he's done a great job. He's done a great job on special teams. He's been a little hurt, which has contributed to, his role to some degree. But he's been great. He's done a great job on special teams. He's done everything we've asked him to do. When he's gone in the game, he's done a really good job of doing what he needs to do. But he got his shoulder banged up, which has been a little bit of an issue for him all year, in the game. So we'll see how that goes this week as well.
A guy we haven't asked about in a while is Devontae Smith. Just how's he coming along in his recovery?
He's actually getting to the point where he's able to do dry land running. I think he's gotten up to like 80% or something like that. So he's getting closer, but we just have to wait and see. That's kind of day-to-day too.
What has Malachi Moore meant to the team in bringing energy, but also in being able to be versatile in secondary?
Well, Malachi's a great leader, but he's also, very smart. He's got lots of experience. He understands the system of what we do. I think he really helps the other guys with adjustments that we need to make in the game. And, he's been invaluable. He's played well, and I think he's helped everybody around him play better.
You've really been able to shut teams down in the second half on defense, or at least improve on defense. How much does that say to the job Kevin's done in making adjustments in games?
Yeah, well, we all contribute to trying to make adjustments in the games, and Kevin's done a really, really good job. He's in the box, so he has a really good perspective of, what we didn't do correctly, what we need to fix, what's not working, what might work better. So, but I think we also do a great job on the sidelines of showing the players the series before. And the first series of the second half was not a good one for us, but we actually played better toward the end of the game. But I think we need to have a little more consistency. The drive right before the half was not great, and the first drive of the second half was not great, but Then I thought we played really, really well after that. But we just want to try to, we're getting a lot of stuff, man, lots of multiples that the players have to adjust to. And we want to do more things, but make it simpler for the players so that we can actually do these things and be able to adjust to all the stuff that we're seeing so that they're confident that they can make the adjustments we need to make.
What was your perspective on Dallas's roughing call and just what the technical coaching point would be there?
Look, I don't know if there is a technical coaching point. You know, you always tell players you want them to see what they hit. You know, he hit the guy here and then he hit him sort of in the chin. So it wasn't like a direct hit or an intentional hit to the head. It was a really good hit, but unfortunately, you know, his helmet did slide up and hit the guy. So it's a foul. If you hit the quarterback in the head, it's just going to get called all the time. And we just want to have him keep his eyes up and see what he hits and hopefully target down a little bit so it doesn't happen again.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's Nick Saban there, very quickly talking about the trip up to Kentucky and how this will be a very different team. He didn't go as far as to say it, but there, you know, he said the same thing about Mark Stoops that he said about Sam Pittman's teams. They will fight you.
Yeah.
Forget the record, forget the points they score, whatever. They will fight you. It'll be a phone booth game.
Kentucky loves to make it an ugly football game. That's their shot at winning, is to get you in an ugly game, and they just grind away in that run game and play tough defense. For Alabama, I thought it's important that he said Lawson and Key are both day-to-day. I will say this from down in Baton Rouge, Brian Kelly meeting the media. This is a positive update. He says Jaden Daniels also is day-to-day in terms of his availability to face Florida Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Shea Dixon reporting that from 24/7 Sports, or excuse me, on 3. So that's a positive update there. That's better than I thought it would be.
A lot of people are making the fact that he stayed in the tent until the end of the game so long in the tent that that maybe this was in somehow more severe than people may have thought initially. But I will tell you that when you have a concussion like that, bright lights, and then flashing lights like you get now in modern day college football during TV timeouts and stuff can really put you in a bad place.
That, and I think if you're, you know, on the medical staff at a program like LSU, you know the TV cameras are probably going to try to find him because he's not in the game.
That's
so,
right.
you know, to give him an element of privacy as well, why not just leave him in the tent if you don't
100%.
need it for any other player?
That's exactly right. And I thought that was a good move.
I agree.
If you're not going to take him to the locker room, then leave him in that tent. It's sort of your locker room on the bench.
That's right.
To where you don't have to sit out there and endure all of that. Now, Auburn is getting ready for a trip to Fayetteville, where Auburn is one game short of being bowl eligible. 5-4 in the year, 2-4 in conference play. Arkansas coming off a win at Florida, their first win as an SEC member, and they joined in 1992 of beating Florida in the Swamp. Hasn't happened before, and Arkansas was able to do that. More importantly for Auburn fans, they got Rocket Sanders back. So we'll hear from Hugh Freeze in a second. Before that, TV times for the dismal Week 12 in the SEC, which has games like Auburn and New Mexico State and Alabama and Chattanooga. You just really want those days to be over with as quickly as possible.
No doubt. Well, good news for Alabama. You started as early as possible. Alabama, Chattanooga, that is a streaming game. Keep in mind that is Alabama's streaming game this year.
Oh,
Every team gets one. That is an 11 o'clock stream on SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. We always tell you, if you have the SEC Network, you have access to the stream of that game. That's what we're always told. That if your package includes the SEC Network on your cable, your satellite, your streaming package, whatever, you also have access to the network stream.
Is that true?
That's what we're always told.
I don't remember that.
Oh, we're told that every year. You got to start paying attention.
Yeah, I thought we were told that for that SEC bonus channel. Remember the
well, they've never used that.
Channel.
I don't even know why we have that channel.
They don't use that anymore.
I've never seen anything on it.
Yeah, they did for a while.
Yeah.
Remember early on, it was these other games. SEC Plus was the extra channel, the SEC Network channel.
Georgia, Tennessee will be your 2:30 CBS game. Auburn, New Mexico State at 3 on the actual SEC Network. So on the SEC network, not streaming there for Auburn and New Mexico State. Not a very good day in the conference, but you will get a good Tennessee-Georgia game. One would have to assume 2:30 CBS.
But this week for Auburn, it's a chance to go bowl eligible before New Mexico State comes to town and then Alabama. Here's Hugh Freeze's weekly press conference as we continue with overtime as he talks about the Tigers and the Hogs.
Morning to all. It's obviously big week as I guess fall is ending and we move into the winter season of where football is still going on, obviously, but there's a lot of other sports that are getting kicked off, and I'd love to wish good luck to our Coach Jay and women's basketball and Bruce and men's basketball, and I know volleyball has a huge match coming up, so Coach Crouch and his squad were pulling for them also. So a lot of good things going on this week. I'm glad I'm not with Bruce in South Dakota. I don't. That wouldn't be a fun trip for me, but I'm sure he's enjoying it because he's made that way. But good luck to all those teams this week. Watching the film yesterday, with there was a lot of good things and some that were not so good, and then some that had we made certain plays, the game would have been firmly in control. And I don't know that we can have those not go our way this week in Arkansas. Really impressed with them. I think they've lost 5 games by 1 score or less to really good football teams, and obviously they're coming off of a big win on the road in Gainesville, and I think they've got a lot of motivation, and it's a very scary team. I think they're doing a really good job. They're really good on defense, stopping the run, and obviously KJ's I've had great respect for him for many years now, and knew him out of high school, and he's a great leader, and they've kind of gone back to playing like they did last year offensively, it appears. So, and they seem much more confident. So we got our hands full with that, excited about winning at Vanderbilt again. Thank our fans. I thought they were incredible, showed up, and really felt like we were at a neutral site game at worst, and really just never had any problem communicating or anything, and I think our fans were just incredible. So we're looking to become bowl eligible. I think that's big in year one. Jarquez has had some good games. Peyton has completed around 70% of his passes the last 2 weeks, and 5 TDs with 1 interception. That was a bad choice, but it's been solid, and that's with several drops. Really, I think we had 7 drops is what I tallied after watching the film. So we had 3 scores of 50-plus yards. That's the second time that's happened in 20 years. So we're starting to see some signs of some good things, but we got to clean up the ones that are not so good and make all the ones that come our way that we do have good calls and we execute it correctly. And you know, we had 2 touchdowns called back. Jarquez scored on 2 runs, both called back. Both were good calls. They were penalties. And just neither one had to happen. You know, not one time have we ever discussed cutting from the tight end position. Not one time, nor do we practice that. And then Rivaldo's hold on the last one that Jarquez ran in, it didn't have to do it. And so we've got to lock in and be a little more focused and clean some of that up, or those will hurt us in these upcoming games.
Hey, you said last week that you were more involved in the game planning offensively. Seemed like, are you calling some plays now? You seem more involved in that on the game.
Yeah, it's a collaboration. You know, I'm very involved but Monty's calling his share too, and it's a partnership, and kind of depends on how it's going, and you know, but I'm very involved with what's on the call sheet for sure, and what shouldn't be on there.
You like a golfer watching putts fall. How important is just seeing plays happen and success on offense and just starting to kind of believe? Is that a big deal?
Yeah, I thought we played with some confidence and swagger last week, particularly the first half, and then got off to a fast start and was really optimistic about some of the. I really felt good about our. I work hard at explosive plays and the possibilities of those, and really felt good about our chances at having some explosive plays, and we should have. We did have. We had some, but it should have been more. And I think the more we're successful at doing that, the more confidence and swagger that our kids will play with.
Hey, Coach, with KJ Jefferson, getting to watch him over the years, he's so difficult to bring down. I know you emphasize tackling in practice, but how much is that going to be a point of coaching this week to make sure that you bring him fully to the ground because he is so strong? Yeah, it's amazing some of the tackles he gets out of and then extends plays. So that will be certainly an area that we've got to. I mean, you watch him enough, you know you're not going to get him on the ground every single time. You just hope that those are not explosive runs or explosive passes that happen after you miss him. But he's very, very strong and very, very difficult to get on the ground.
Coach, a couple weeks ago, you mentioned that you had what you phrased a put up or shut up, conversation with Peyton Thorne. He averaged about 30 throws a game at Michigan State before he got here. Over the last 2 weeks, you've thrown the ball significantly more. Had he expressed any frustration to you about the volume of throws in the game plan?
No, not about the volume. We're both frustrated, and we talk openly. But I don't ever remember. It wasn't a case, well, I need a certain volume of throws. I mean, there's a lot of really good football teams that are finishing games now. If you go look at the stats, 12 for 19 or 16 for 19. And it's never about volume for him nor I. It's about executing what the plan is and executing it well and throwing accurate balls to the right spot. So never been one to say it needs to be X amount, nor has he expressed that either.
Yes, you. What status of Avery Jones this week, and if he does return, what will be the plan for Connor Lew?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't talked to Robbie and the medical staff yet about. We probably won't know until Wednesday or Thursday what Avery's status is, and Connor still will play some. I don't think him being out the last 3 weeks, particularly when it's a lower leg injury, that he's going to be ready to go out there and play 60, 70 snaps. So if he is available, it still will be a shared responsibility.
Around this time last year, you guys at Liberty went to Arkansas and won that game. I know you said kind of each game you sort of look at your team and motivate them in a little bit of a different way. What do you remember about that day that got them up to kind of have that kind of performance to get that win?
Yeah, we had come off of a big win against BYU, and I believe it was after an open week that we traveled to Arkansas. The first thing I was concerned about is my experience in Arkansas in November has not been pleasant. The 2 times we went there when I was at Ole Miss, the weather was atrocious. And I was just thankful that when we went at Liberty, it was actually a nice day. And it appears this Saturday is going to be fairly nice. I tell our teams the truth. And I remember telling them that, listen, you're the underdog. You shouldn't win this game. But that's what makes it fun, to go and give it a shot and while you play the game. And you don't have to be better 10 times. You just have to be better that one day. And I can't remember exactly what our theme was that week or anything, but our kids played really hard that day, I know, and stopped their run pretty much. So there's something we need to do this week also.
You mentioned Saturday about just wanting to look back at the film to see the offensive line and how they handled just different protection schemes, running backs, tight ends too. If you've done that now, kind of what did you think about it?
Disappointed, truthfully, in our protection. And again, when I say disappointed, I'm not saying O-line, running backs, quarterbacks. It was all of us. Peyton, I mean, the first third down, I see exactly what's happening, and I just felt surely he sees, because we did a freeze, and the end was dropping, and the backer was coming, the safeties were rolling, and I mean, I know you see that, and we did not set the protection right on that, and I think he missed two protections. A running back totally, Damari missed an easy look, and then our O-line had 3 or 4 that were. And I'm not talking about just getting beat. I'm talking about we're not handling. When they were really twisting a lot away from the back, and you have to get vertical to be able to pass that off and stay on the same level. And man, we were several times we were on different levels, and you're gonna get pressure in a hurry when you do that. So we were average at best.
Hey, these past 2 weeks, was it more of the game plan going in that Peyton was going to play every snap, or was it he's just playing so well you're not going to take him off the field?
Well, it was, this is what we're going to do offensively, and I believe Peyton's skill sets are the most prepared for what we're doing. It's not a negative toward anybody else. I think when you talk about playing with tempo, setting our protections, throwing accuracy with footballs, and understanding coverages, I think he's the farthest along in that. I think Holden had one heck of a week last week, and he can really spin it, and he's probably one that I think he's got a bright future.
You spoke earlier this year about Jalen Simpson being a joy to coach. What are some things you see him consistently doing at a high level?
His energy and passion, work ethic. He comes to work every day. He prepares. He does it with energy and a smile on his face. And it's not a I have to. It's a I get to mentality. And pleased with his progress for sure.
17 points in the first half on Saturday, 14 in the second half. I just didn't know if you had an explanation for the huge drop-off of 3 points from the first half to second half.
I tell you, it was awful play calling. It was awful.
My real question is, with Arkansas, we know they let go of their offensive coordinator a couple weeks ago. How tough is it to game plan when you have film for so many weeks on one offensive coordinator, and then now you're having to readjust and kind of see what the difference is from all those weeks before for just these couple weeks now with a new guy calling plays?
Well, I honestly, I don't know that it's going to this is certainly not saying that we're going to have the greatest plan and stop them, but I think it's pretty clear they were frustrated with what they were doing, and I think it's a pretty stark difference. And the guy that's calling it now, whose background is with the former offensive coordinator, I think it's a pretty good bet that you can throw a lot of the film out unless you're just looking at personnel, and probably need to pull a few games from last year, is my opinion, to go with what they did at Florida.
Hugh, what have you seen with Austin Keys being back the last couple of weeks, and how much has he helped that linebacker group? And I guess we've seen that linebacker group overall as they've grown this season.
I thought our linebackers played their best game, truthfully. We had one, we turned loose an over route. Our eyes got a little dirty with the play fake, and we didn't cut the tight end on an. Outside of that, I thought they played really, really solid. And I think Austin being back, it really gives us 4 guys that we can rotate, and they're not having to play. I mean, I was looking at the play count last night. I think Austin played the most, but it was 40 plays maybe, and everybody else is 20s and 30s. And I just think anytime you can do that on defense, especially, particularly in the front 7, you're gonna be fresher and better to take on what you have to take on in that box when it's not me having to play 50, 60 snaps. And so, number one, he's one of our better players. And number two, it takes the load off of it. The load is shared now, among really Cam and Larry and Eugene and him.
Yeah, on the topic of Peyton's pick 6, when he gets back to the sideline, you say, what happened? Did he have an alibi at all?
I love him. He said, Coach, I swear I just did not see him. So what do you say to that? Play the next play. It wasn't no excuse. It wasn't, I read the coverage wrong. He said, Coach, I just didn't see the guy. And I said, what do we always say? Don't throw blind. I said, you got it. Don't throw blind. And so, I mean, it happens to the best of them. He hasn't shown he has not shown that that's his MO, just to fling the ball to the flat and with the coverage standing there. So, I mean, he owned every bit of it, and obviously I said, bro, my media guys want me to throw it when we're backed up. And so, I mean, you got to, bro, if I'm going to do that, you got to protect me, man. I said to myself, that's why you deadgum run the ball and then punt.
Coach, a lot of talk about the offense, obviously, but quietly your defense is keeping you in every single game. They only gave up 8 points. What are your conversations with Ron Roberts like during the week? You guys talk about his contract extension weekly, or how's he doing?
I don't go in the defensive room much. I never have. I go in there on Sundays, and then we watch the team periods of practice. And then I go in there for recruiting, and then I go in there tell me what we're doing on third down and in the tight red zone. Because I have my hands full with recruiting and trying to help offense and manage our team. And I certainly I would screw it up for him if I'd got too much, but I can help him. I think he would say where I'm valued to him is I think he does a masterful job of calling a game, but I do think I help them considerably on third downs and maybe in the red zone, maybe. But definitely on third downs, because I can get a feel. I think I have a gift of saying I think you need to give me a hole player right here. I don't know what you call it, but just give me a hole player right here. And I think you need to go 2 here. Don't go man. I kind of got a feel for how the other team is what they're doing on third down, and so I don't get involved other than really on those scenarios. But you hire people to do a job, and you get out of the way and let them do it until they prove they can or can't. And that's always been my philosophy. And I try not to get too in the way, but if I can help him, I'll ask him, you want me to, if you want me to tell you what I see right here, say so. He said, yeah, I'd love to hear it. I tell him, here's what I would do the next 2 third downs in medium. Here's what I'd do the next 2 third downs in long. As in, well, you play to your strengths, but yeah, you hire people, and you hope that you're not always right. I don't know that I've ever totally been right on every single hire that I've ever made, and you always are. You evaluate that every single year. But I think to this point, I'm pretty pleased with. We got good men in the building, and. I want folks that can drive our culture for sure. And then I think I've got to play to my strengths too, and that's something I'm still figuring out. exactly what that looks like.
Right here in the middle. You mentioned in your open, you've got 3 chances to become bowl eligible as you build this program in year 1. What does that mean for you in your game plan to get to a bowl game to postseason play in year 1?
I'm not one to. I never set goals at the beginning of the year. I just think that the goal ought to be the journey and the process of how do you prepare every single day for those opportunities that are coming. Because you've all seen we play in a league where a lot of things can happen, and you can have injuries that affect you, and you can lose. The ball just doesn't bounce your way one year, and so I want a group of men and young men around us that, man, every day let's just prepare to win this week and see what that says to us at the end. But I have been pretty open about the fact that I think going to a bowl game in year 1 is desired, needed, wanted. I don't know. It's kind of I want the extra practices. I want the seniors to be honored. I want our program, our fans, to still have the same energy, moving into year 2. And I think all of that, is a part of us getting to a bowl. We've been able to do that at each stop that we've taken over, and I want to do it here. And I think our kids want to do it here. But you got to earn it. And we don't have this is not an easy game on the road this week for sure. And so we're going to have to earn it, but it is something we have put out there as something we desire.
I know you talked about Jalen McLeod a lot in the preseason and wanting to get him 100% these past few weeks with him feeling like he's at that point. He's been really good for y'all. Just what does that do to have sort of a reliable pass rusher on third downs?
Yeah, he plays hard. He's having to play too many snaps. We still don't have the depth at pass rushing that we need. And but boy, he's made some. Look, our D-line Saturday we had more people involved in negative plays than we have. Jason Jones was involved in one. Justin Rogers, Lawrence was in one. We're used to Jalen making a few, but it was good to see all those guys. But Jalen definitely is the biggest threat we have, and that's good for us. But it's also it's been somewhat. When I'm game planning for somebody, and I'm sure vice versa, you're gonna, if you're not afraid of both sides, the slide side is gonna get sent to the best dude, and I think that happens a lot to him. Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, that is Hugh Freeze there before they go to Arkansas. Always a great in-depth look at what's going on with the Auburn program there. We've done the kick times for the in-between week this weekend and the Iron Bowl week. Hard to believe we're down to 3 weekends.
Don't say it.
Of the regular season.
It's awful.
But we're down to 3 weekends of the regular season. No, what's harder is do the number of years you've been alive.
Oh, Jim.
No, just do this.
Okay.
You do it too, Rockstar. Number of years you've been alive.
Right.
Now take it back to 1776 and do the percentage of years that the country has been a country. Our country has been a country. The percentage of how many years you've lived through America's existence.
Well, I was a bicentennial baby, so that was the 200th birthday.
Okay. So,
and that makes me, if you want to do the quick math now, 47.
Yep. So
if I'm 47 out of 247.
That's right. So
wow.
Look, you're approaching. You've almost been around for 1/6 of America's existence.
Now do Columbus. Do 1492.
He sailed the ocean blue, right?
But think about it. We're such a young country. I've been around for basically 1/5 of America.
Right.
Like I've lived through 20%
God
of
bless
America.
It. Yes, God bless it.
That's right. Only 80% of America has happened.
Yeah.
And only Dunaway can relate that to football.
That's a weird one, but he did.
The episode, whatever.
Well, I was just pointing out that huge news conferences run about as long as America.
They do. Run. My God.
Do you think
like Nick Saban doesn't even stop in the room?
Yeah.
Like Nick Saban's like, Hey guys, how you doing?
right,
See you guys next week.
Yes, thanks a lot.
I mean, it's a constant motion.
Hugh
His is over. Hugh
sits down and pours a drink.
Brings snacks.
Hey, do you
backpack?
Do you think we have seen the last significant play of Robbie Ashford?
Oh no, I think he still do the little red zone.
I haven't seen it much. Now you've played Mississippi State and Vandy, so I don't know how much you've needed it. You may need it against Arkansas, doubtful against New Mexico State, and that's why I said significant. He'll play against New Mexico State.
May need it against Alabama.
Yeah, but I wonder how much you'll see him against Arkansas and Alabama. They've gone away from that a little bit. Peyton Thorne has played better in that situation without Robbie Ashford coming in all the time. Hugh Freeze asked about it, actually said some nice things about Holden Gerner, almost, if you wanted to read between the lines, made it sound like he's the only one I see a bright future in, the way he answered that. I don't think that's what he meant. But, then again, ask about play calling and said some of it's me, some of it's Monty. So we're getting a lot more, I think, Hugh Freeze play calling here, and it's clear he's comfortable right now with Peyton Thorne.
I would agree with that.
That's what it appears.
Hey, we're comfortable in inviting you back to our house tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. I took a pain pill about an hour ago.
You can't tell, Rockstar.
Just now kicking in.
Yeah.
How long ago was that for me? 1776.
If you were to fly, Rockstar, if you were to fly to Mars.
Yeah.
Listen, I just think it's pretty crazy that I've been around for 1/5 of American history.
That is kind of crazy, yeah.
And T-Bob pointed out last week I won't be around much longer. All right, that's it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Yeah, we're back with you tomorrow. Somewhere Kelsey's laughing. Rowback.com, promo code TNR20. We're back tomorrow. You guys have a great one.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan